You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation. You are listening to Awaken Atlanta on the UI Media Network, a conscious way to start your day. Get ready to welcome the awesome duo, the uncensored and bubbly Shannon McVeigh, and the conscious voice of the South, Tim Ray, as they add a conscious twist to any and everything around you. So fasten your seatbelts, get ready for a ride around the Big Peach while we awaken Atlanta.
Headphones on.
I don't know there.
Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. Shannon McVeigh, Tim Ray. Good morning, Tim Ray.
Well, good morning to you, Miss Shannon McVeigh.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. And what's interesting is what we're going to be talking about today, something that's near and dear to my heart, not perhaps not to yours.
Why is it near and dear to your heart?
Well, it's dating.
Yes, guys, it's the one that got away. I feel like everybody has the one that got away, but let me retract that statement. I feel that most men have the story, the one that got away, and women were just like, well, you're an idiot. We move on.
Well, we have a great guest today, Awaken star, Veronica. She's coming in, and she wrote a book called How to Get Your Ex Back in 25 Days, So I thought that's kind of interesting. What do you think of that? I mean, number one, who would want their ex back?
See, we're going to talk about that. That's so interesting that you say that because I also think an ex is an ex for a reason.
Right.
But I think that a lot of men, here I go, men. Yeah. I'm kind of a basher of men.
You are a basher of men, aren't you?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
Maybe I just don't trust men yet.
Yeah, you've been through some hell, so I'd assume that would be the case.
Someday. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about exes. I think exes are exes for a reason, which we just said. And I think that men have a harder time moving on than women do. If they're women, the woman that they're leaving was really great and they just messed up.
Well, I had to say is just from my experience, men are usually the last ones to know when the relationship's over.
See, I don't understand that. I think that's a load of BS. Because,
really?
Yeah, because by the time a woman is pushed away, it's because she's exhausted.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but even then, the man's like, hey, we're still together, right? We still have a relationship, right? And
but the man doesn't want it because he didn't ever treat his woman like a treasure.
That's not the point. Of course, that's the reality. But the point is, men are just sometimes so self-focused on their feelings and not emotionally connected at the moment of what's going on with the female, with their spouse. And so 6 months prior to breaking up, the relationship's been over on the average.
Yeah.
What do you think of those numbers?
I don't know statistically if I believe them yet.
Really?
Yeah, we'll find out.
What do you believe?
Yeah. Well, about dating?
About men last to know about a relationship when it's over.
I feel like you've got to know, especially if you're in tune with your wife or girlfriend, you've got to know. Otis has something to say.
Men never know when the woman is really fed up.
Really?
That's what it is.
How do you guys not
because
know?
You guys are so unconditional. It's like, man, we're so spoiled in a way. Like, you're so nurturing and loving. It's like, where's the freaking ceiling? Where's the floor?
So you see how far you can get,
or we don't know. We don't
You're like, I'm gonna run you into the ground a little bit more.
Women will forgive us 8 times. Like, how are we supposed to know that 9th time is the time? That's it. That's it.
You guys, that's really messed up.
It kind of is, isn't it?
That is so jacked up.
I know.
Poor women.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. We have some personal questions that we are going to answer, and we want you guys to join in and let us know your answers.
All right.
Because that's what this is about.
Well, before we do that,
it's a tribe.
Before we get into like the heart of the meat of the show today, and we'll have a great intention. What do you think of that past intention? Did you
do it?
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Feminine energy, baby.
Feminine energy rising. So you like that?
Yeah, of course. I'm still on the dream intention though.
Really?
Mm-hmm. How long do we do the intentions? Forever?
Yeah, we're going to pile them up. We're going to pile them up, and you have a chance to review them. And we're also going to associate. Otis, we got to make sure we tie in the link to the actual show for that intention. Stacy, we got to tie in the show. You got to put the link on the show for each intention we put out, so people could hear and see what we're talking about. So, And what else we got coming up here?
So we have Greta Foll. Is it Foll? Am I saying that correctly?
Greta Foll.
She is president of Golden Home Services.
Yes, and she'll be here at 8:30 as Goodwill Partner and share
in studio, which we're excited about because we love people in studio.
Yes.
And then VeronicaIsles, life coach, inspirational speaker, and YouTube blogger.
Yes, and she is fantastic. You're gonna love her, guys. She is just perfect energy. And she loves her planners. She's actually helps.
Let's
share,
talk about
share
the planner.
planners.
Why don't you show the planner?
Well, we will in time. I think in the next break we'll do it.
All right.
But you know, Shannon, boy, you just all over the map today. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
You get enough sleep last night?
Yeah.
Really?
Did you?
I got plenty of sleep. I feel great.
Good.
What about you?
Yeah, I had good sleep. Why?
You sound like you're a little down, a little tired.
No, I'm a little tired because it's my kid's first day of school. By the way, guys, Forsyth County, happy first day of school to everybody.
God, you know, I went to see this article.
August freaking 1st.
When did you see this article? When did you see this video we have under Good News under the glyphosate in our school system? You guys are gonna be like, man, do we want to send our kids to school? Really?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not motivating for the first day of school.
Well, I know, but plus the first day of school, like, guys, I used to be so excited about it too. I used to be like you, Shannon. But now I'm like, school. I mean, really, we should be teaching so many different things. You know, we had this. Panache on this really cool dude who was on our show yesterday, good intention show, and he was talking about how really just coming from the soul, you know, and it's not being taught anywhere, and it's not, and you know, you say religion can't be taught in schools. I'm not talking about religions. I'm talking about just our nature of our spirituality of who we really are, truly are, our true self. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to hear me talk
No,
about
I'm listening. I'm just asking Wahid to lower these because you're yelling at me. Oh, that's
really?
better, Wahid. Thank you.
Jeez. All right.
All right.
So and so it's like, why there's so many more healthier things that we should be having in our education system than what we're doing right now. And I just think like, man, maybe the matrix, are we done with math and algebra and trigonometry and the proper English? I mean, look, let's focus on telepathy.
Why can't it?
What? Why not? That's the best way to communicate.
Why can't you have everything? I love knowledge. Knowledge is power.
I understand knowledge.
It's okay to be smart. It's okay to learn about that kind of stuff. World history is important, right?
Well, hold on.
If you forget history, you'll repeat it.
Listen, the history is edited and created up. It's not even real history.
You said, let's focus on telepathy. That is going to be in your graveyard. Hey, let's focus on telepathy.
Well, I mean, it's not the ultimate way to communicate with someone.
Telepathy? Do you think that it's like everybody has that gift, or you think it's a gift?
I think everybody has that gift, just like that sixth sense. It's like the expansion of our senses. I think if we focus on that, meditate, whatever it may be, I think we could expand those senses.
Okay. So
anyway.
why don't we have that as our intention today?
No, it has to be related on dating.
Oh, all right. Well, I think telepathy.
Yeah, telepathy.
Do
you know what that is? Telepathy.
Where you talk to somebody through your mind?
Yeah.
Like right now.
Yeah.
Let's have the rest of the show in telepathy, telepathic.
All right, let me think. All right, it's not working.
All right.
So.
All right. Can we get into our dating rules
Yes, let's
now?
get into dating mode.
All right, guys. Do you have the one that got away? We want to know. Write it down. Let us talk on behalf of you. But you ready for the first question?
Go ahead.
When was your first heartbreak and did you cry?
My first heartbreak, and did I cry?
Oh, you definitely cried. I mean, come on, feminine energy rising.
She's such a mean bully, you know? So, yeah, I'd probably have to say my high school sweetheart.
Did she leave you?
Well, we were just kind of getting started, and it just kind of fell apart. And some other guy swooped in.
Ooh.
You know, high school, well, freshman, sophomore, how many other guys? You just kind of you don't make the right moves. You do like it was awkward. You do something, and then
that's your first heartbreak. You
Yeah.
were really hurt. You were.
Oh
hurt
yeah, I
about it?
loved her, man. I loved her over a whole summer.
Oh, a whole summer's a big deal for
It
high
is-
schoolers.
It is a big
Holy
deal. I
cow!
know. And she's not alive anymore. She passed away.
Oh, I'm
A
sorry.
little tragically, but
Did you kill her after she dumped you? Well,
no.
I'm really sorry to hear about that. That was sad.
Yeah, she was a unique soul. Unique soul.
Okay, are you really sad? Okay, I don't know if we can handle this show right now with him.
Why?
He's about to cry.
I am not about to cry.
I feel it.
I want to know what is your
unique soul.
what is
I
your
just-
what?
Sorry, what is my what?
What is your first? Yeah, your first heartbreak.
Mine is a little bit more intense than yours. Mine was also in high school. It was my high school sweetheart, and it was a big deal to like. I was a virgin until I was 18, right?
Right.
And so I told him, because he was a virgin, I was a virgin, that we should lose our virginity together. And after we did that, I found out he slept with girls before me, so he had lied to me. That was my first heartbreak. I remember vomiting all over the place. I was so crushed.
You vomited from hearing this information.
Emotional. Oh my gosh! Yes.
I don't know if I'd ever happen to me. I could ever do something like that. It'd be so emotionally connected. I'd actually vomit.
I was vomiting. Wow. It was awful. That's when I realized, wow, I don't trust men.
And most
you guys are all liars.
Most guys in high school lie about the girl, like to say that they have done it.
Yeah, I know.
This guy was saying he was lying to say
because
that he
wanted my V card.
You think
I ended up marrying him, though. Disclaimer: I married him because I'm the good Christian woman that I am.
So he lied about being a virgin. Yeah, usually, Otis, you're right. Usually it's the other way around, man.
Oh, I remember in my high school with my girlfriends, they were all doing that, and I remember lying about doing it because I was the only virgin, and I was embarrassed because I was a virgin.
You're embarrassed being a virgin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
I remember somebody called me that in the bus before I knew what it meant, and I was like, I am not.
What do you think about that? People are holding on to their virginity until they get married.
I think it's brilliant, and I think you should, because I think that's the way it's designed.
Can I have a different perspective on that?
Yes, I know you are, because you, my friend,
listen.
are something that begins with an S.
Oh, my God.
Ends with lut.
Oh, my God. Look at you.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Okay, so why shouldn't you wait till
Why
you're
would
married?
you even think that?
Because I know you.
You know me.
I've been your best friend for a year.
All right, so
I know your girlfriends.
Girlfriends? I don't have any girlfriends.
All right.
Back to the real story.
Okay, so why is it not okay to wait till you're married?
Because I think that I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think if people want to do that's fine. But I think that there's a rhythm in a relationship that you kind of need to work through. Once you get married, you're married now. They may work out fine. Like the arranged marriages may be fine.
I think they grow to love each other. I think it's brilliant because their parents pick and parents know best.
All right. And so parents know best.
I do.
but I think that that the when you do get married, you don't know what the person's like, sexually. You don't know what the person's like with emotionally. I mean, to some degree, with all that connected to it.
Yes. So you think it's the whole test drive the car before you buy it.
Okay, well, why do you have to even use that analogy? You have to buy it.
I don't know. It seems marriage is buying, right?
No, it's not
buying.
Why
buy the cow when the milk's for free? That's what I was taught.
I think it's more of a it's when you get married. I think it's more of a spiritual union, I should say. And I think if you develop that part of it, but to hold off on having sex to develop your I think developing your spirituality before you get married is important. And I think part of having sex is part of that process. I think keeping sex out of that spiritual union may hold back from growing further spiritually.
But you will eventually when you're
married.
Does
that make sense to you?
It does. But this is what I think.
All right.
I think that when you become one with a person, you guys, it's designed to feel something incredibly special. And especially for women, like we give a part of us to the man. So we need to hold that. And so much energy is there. Women, don't give that stuff away. I think that we're in this hookup culture, and I think it's terrible. People aren't holding themselves to a higher standard. And they're giving themselves away. And then men are running with it.
Okay. So you think it's a man's problem?
I do. I think that men don't fall as in love as women do. In that sense. Does that make sense? Like, I think that it'll be easier for a man to go sleep with a woman than a woman to sleep with a man because we become connected. We become invested at that point. Yeah,
there's definitely is more of an energetic transference, I'd say, on the females. But although, when you have an intercourse, a man is giving and the woman is receiving, literally energy, right? And then it cycles and it comes back into giving back to the man, and then man gives back to the receiving to the woman.
Okay.
So it's like a circle.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, why can't you wait for the beautiful sanctity of marriage? I think marriage is a beautiful thing. If it's done right.
Okay.
If it's done healthy with respect. I mean, I want to know your thoughts on marriage.
All right. We'll talk about that when we get back from break.
All right.
Much more to come, guys. Talking about dating and more like our exes. And we have a great, and can you go back with your ex?
We're going to find out a lot of things about Tim Ray this morning because the questions.
Yeah, Shannon's already starting rumors. So I just think
I'm pulling you.
You're going to have to, she thinks I started a rumor about her being a bully, but she really is.
We'll be right back.
All right.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Do you want to learn how you can stop sabotaging yourself? I'm here with Dr. Vern Morgan, and I think he's about to tell you just that.
There's great new technology which will allow you to change the old negative programming into very positive strategies. And we do that by using and delivering repetitively these strategies, bypassing the conscious mind and influencing the subconscious mind.
And to learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the authentic change today.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. Shannon McVeigh, Tim Ray. Guys, Tim Ray is really mad at me right now.
I'm not mad at you.
Yeah. Oh, now you're not mad at me?
I'm kind of over it a little bit now.
You are?
Well, I just don't like you trying to, quantify me.
I don't even know what that word means.
Well, you're trying to put me in a box.
I am not.
Well, let me tell you something. Do you ever cheat on your boyfriend?
In my past, yes. And that's a question that we have.
Did you ever cheat on your husband?
No.
All right. You ever cheat on your fiance? Oh, really? What's going on here?
Okay, so I was engaged when I was
Who's the S
24.
word? Who's the S word now?
Oh, whatever.
All right, just saying.
When I was 24 years old, this guy proposed to me, guys, and I never
cheated on my wife.
That's why you were only married for a couple years.
7 years.
Oh, good for you. A big 7. That's so nothing.
Okay, go ahead. What are you going to say?
All right. So I was 24 years old and this guy proposed to me and I wanted to say no, but I didn't know how to say no because clearly people that know me know that I'm a people pleaser. So I said yes, knowing that I was going to not marry him.
Really?
Yeah, I was a wimp. I didn't speak my truth.
Wait, read some of the comments on there.
Okay. Marius said women are really divine. Stacy said women are more emotionally involved and attached to a relationship. And then she said, here's a question. Do you have any exes that you would consider getting involved with again? That's funny because that's one of our questions on here. Do you have an ex that you would consider getting involved with again? I already know your answer and I already know mine.
What's my answer?
Your answer is yes because you're a man. My answer is no because I'm a woman and I realize that you don't get back with exes.
Well, hold on. No, I don't know if that's so true. I'm sure there's very happy relationships out there who the exes got back together again, second or third time try, whatever it may be, and they worked it out. I'm not saying I don't think it's impossible.
You don't? So
No.
do you have an ex that got away?
Probably maybe one or two.
When his voice goes up, guys, that means yes.
No,
That means he's probably when he's a boy in puberty, that means he's hiding something from us. So carry on, sir. What are you hiding from us?
Maybe one or two.
1 or 2, that's a lot.
Is it really?
So why did you ruin it in the first place?
I ruined it, man.
All right, did you not?
I did.
See, because if she ruined
Well,
it, you wouldn't want to get back with
one
her.
I did, one I didn't.
All right, but you'd get back with both of them.
I don't know. I'd have to kind of see how things play out.
Are you talking to one of them right now? That's what's going on.
No, but my point is, they're both involved with other people,
So, but what if they called you and said, hey, I can't stop thinking about you. I want to give it a second go.
I'd be like, I don't know. I got to check with my my posse over here. The boys have to tell me if I should do it or not. I don't know. It's a whole nother. It's so many dynamics. It's a fantasy in your head, guys.
Why would it be a fantasy to get back with the next? That is so not a woman's fantasy.
Well, I'm just saying because we just like when somebody dies, we make them a saint. We just only look at the positive, or
right.
And so in our head, we're looking at just like the great times and not taking into account all the bad times, or the worst times, or the potential bad times that we.
You know what? I definitely do that. I definitely understand that. However, there is not one ex that I would ever get back with.
Really?
Nope, absolutely not. No.
Really? Okay. What about
When you move on, you move on. Or women do. I do. I don't know.
So what about like when you were like with someone, maybe not an ex, but potentially you never like you were with somebody else and you really want to be with this other guy for some reason, but you never explored it because it wasn't the right opportunity. You have any guys like that?
All right, say it again. So you're with somebody and you want to explore another relationship?
Well, you were potentially could explore another relationship that you could have been with, but you never really was with, but you always thought about being with that person, and now all of a sudden
they're
it's
not an ex.
Well, it's kind of a like a pre-ex.
Not really.
Could be. You thought about being with them at least in your head.
Okay, so
So, and do you anybody like that out there that you think you want to explore further that you never really took the chance to because you were already involved with somebody else?
I'm married, sir.
Okay,
but if I wasn't, maybe.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just believe I really have everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that God has me where I'm supposed to be. I do. I think that whoever you end up with, guys, this is the thing. How does the saying go? There's nothing that you can do if it's in God's plan that's going to stop it or start it, no matter what going to happen. So I have such faith in that I don't stress out over it. Whatever's meant to be will be.
Well, that's a pretty healthy attitude to have.
Oh, thanks. All right. So because you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Reading something here?
Did a relationship ever end because it was your fault? Please describe.
Yeah, I'd probably say the majority of them.
Yeah. So.
What about you, Waheed? Anything you ever fall, stop because it was your fault?
Yeah, most of them.
See? Yeah.
But I'm just being honest.
So I'm the same way. Most of mine are ended because of me.
See, I told you she's
but
like
more
a guy.
In the past.
I told you she's like a guy.
Nothing recent, though. Nothing recent, really.
Right.
I mean, I think more in the past. All since, we just make a bunch of foolish mistakes. But
Yeah,
I think
especially
each
in your
relationship,
20s.
for me, each relationship, I learn more about myself and others, and it makes me better for the next person.
Yeah, and you know what I just realized?
What?
I have never been left. I've always been the one leaving. That's crazy. Maybe that's why I don't want an ex back. Because I've never been left. Maybe the ex that you want back left you. So it's a mental thing. I just figured it out.
You just had a revelation, huh?
Yeah. So it's a mental thing for you.
No,
you didn't want to be left. You wanted to be the one leaving. Are your exes that you would get back with, did they leave you?
One did, one didn't. Although the first one, that one was, I wanted to break up, right? And then finally we broke up. And then I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I didn't want to break up. Kind of like that situation.
Yeah.
And I don't think, this is the thing is, I don't know if it was, I didn't want to break up. Now, when you're younger in your 20s, you think love is love, and it's not usually when you get older, it's really not what you thought it was. It was much more superficial, and it was the looks of the girl, the looks of the guy, and it was what their job was, or how they threw their hair back, or, silly stuff that we...
I feel like you're singing a George Michael song right now.
Silly stuff that we put energy into and meaning into that doesn't last. It's superficial, right? For the most part, that's most young relationships. But for me, it was the codependency. Like when I really wanted to break up with her, and I did stupid things to break up with her. And then finally, when we really broke up, when she actually broke up and she pulled when the girl pulls that love away for the first time, I mean, it's like done. It's like a wake up, like, oh my God, what did I do? This is really over. And this is where I think the codependency comes in play, where people have to realize, like, wow, that's why, like, in any relationship, you think when the relationship is over, it's not really over because you got to go through that grieving process of the codependency with each other to how long that may last. And it could last for a long time, especially one person not wanting to give up. And it could be pretty ugly in that process.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
I want to know what your ugliest story is. Can you share it with us?
Well, I could tell you how I reacted on that one, man. I was pretty crazy in 20-something years.
Oh, gosh, 21. I can't imagine you at 20. I bet you needed a helmet because you were just like running into walls. you could not contain yourself.
Well, I was a late bloomer, like I told you before, so I had a lot of making up to do. But but when we broke up, I wanted to break up. We broke up, and we were still living together at the time, which is the worst thing you could ever do, by the way. Don't ever. Waheed, right? Why are you shaking
what
his
do you
head?
mean? You were living with the ex that you broke up with?
Yeah.
Both of you have lived with exes.
And we would sleep in the same bed.
What's the point of that then?
Exactly. But I'm saying we broke up in our heads, but emotionally we did not. That's my point. That's my point. Emotionally, codependently, we were not broken up.
Were you still intimate with the person?
Not only if there was some alcohol involved and some anger going on, and and the other opportunities weren't there. Does that sound terrible, man?
Yeah, that's why they probably say love is for the youth.
Terrible but true.
That's so.
It's kind of, you know what it is. You know what the psychology behind that thing is going on is that we're looking at it from a perspective like, do I really want this broken up? It's like you want your cake and eat it too. Because you're not sure. You're not really sure if you don't want it anymore.
Yeah, you're dipping your toes in.
But you're slowly leaving each other.
Yeah. But you just rip off the Band-Aid. It's a lot easier said than done.
Well, why is it, Shannon McVeigh, so easy to get involved in a relationship and so freaking hard to get out of one?
I know.
I mean, there's so much pain and destruction when you're getting out of a relationship.
And so much money.
Yes.
So much money you have to lose. It's so crazy to me.
Well,
no, that's called divorce.
Yeah. That's what I mean, right?
We're talking about girlfriend,
Dating,
boyfriend.
Just girlfriends.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't cost much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I only marry people apparently.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think there are married?
Because I believe in monogamy.
You believe in like locking people down in safety and security, and thinking marriage is going to save you from being alone.
From myself.
From being alone. A lot of women are like that. Not just you. I'm thinking a lot of women are like that. Where
I'm more traditional.
Is that a nice way of saying I'm scared to be alone?
Well, you know what, sir?
What?
Since I'm becoming more conscious, I definitely realize that about myself.
Really?
That I have a true fear of being alone.
Okay. To the point where you gotta push. You gotta.
Not anymore.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How manipulative were you in getting married to these guys?
I was.
The slew of these bunch of guys you married.
All of my exes, I didn't want to be engaged to or marry, except for my husband now. When I wanted to marry him, I was really excited about marrying him because I loved him so much.
Do you know how sly and manipulative women can be when they want to get married and what they hold back?
Well, I think men are sly and manipulative, and I think that they show you their representative, and then you get to know them, and you're like, oh man, that stinks. You lied.
What do you think of that, Wahid?
I'm right there with you, Tim.
All
I mean, I feel like that's how my daughter's mom was,
right,
or is.
Yeah,
manipulative. Deception.
Yeah,
but it's not a woman thing. It's
an individual thing.
Yeah, it's who's not healthy in the relationship.
Okay, so tell me about your manipulation. How'd you get men to marry you?
I didn't. They just fell in love with me. There was no manipulation there. I wish that I was smarter and more confident in those days to not become I probably got engaged 4 times. I wish that I was smarter to say no.
Hold on, stop, Shannon McVeigh.
People wanted to marry me.
You've been engaged 4 times?
Yes, but
oh my God.
Men used to. I used to be a hot ticket,
Well, you still are. I mean,
I used to be though. I used to really be beautiful, and I was such a free spirit and just love and peace and all that jazz.
Well, all I gotta say is there's a power in the word no.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't learn that until I was 37 years old.
Will you marry me?
Yeah, no. Focus on no.
So you were engaged 4 times. This is such a great topic here. So you engaged 4 times.
Because I couldn't say no, Tim.
You couldn't say no.
But then I would leave. I would say yes, and then I'd be like, I can't do it.
That's like the worst.
That is the worst.
Well, I know that now. Guys, I was in my 20s. You have to remember, I got married at 30. So in my 20s, I
got married at 21.
I did.
I know.
And then divorced at 22. Jeez, why is this about me?
I don't know.
Why are we hating
are we
on
hating?
me?
What
All right, let's read some comments.
All right, there you go.
You're just getting back at me because my comment I said earlier.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Patrick said, what is kissing Kennedy's perspective? And then he said, sometimes exes end up being good friends.
Yeah.
And then Steven said, happy August. Greetings from love from me. I'm glad to be watching live from Sarasota. Stacy said, breakups are messy. Men are manipulative. You are still beautiful, Shannon. I've been engaged 4 times. So she was engaged 4 times as well.
Well, like feathers.
What high school did y'all go to?
We weren't in the same high school. But our exes, both of our exes were Marines. Maybe it's that kind of lifestyle. The military lifestyle, man. You just get married.
Yeah, right.
If you want to live together.
Well, so...
We have a lot more questions that we're going to get into in Tribe Time.
Okay, but I want to. Can we talk more about Shannon's multiple marriages and multiple, engagements? I just think that
we still got 30 seconds.
Oh, good.
But when we come back, look, you guys, we have more questions that we get to put Tim in the hot seat for.
Oh, she can't
and
wait.
we're going to learn
Payback,
more about
so
him.
you know
And we have an email. And keep the comments coming. We love you. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Download the UI Media Smart app at uimediaapp.com to watch and listen to all your favorite shows anytime from anywhere in the world. Shows that enrich, entertain, educate, and feeds the conscious cells throughout your body. We bring you never heard before topics in health, inspiration, music, psychics, numerology, current affairs, controversies, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.uimediaapp.com and start raising your frequency now.
It's that time again. Time to have fun, play games, and talk to your tribe. Whether you want to talk to a friend, need advice, or just want to connect, we got you. So what are you waiting for? It's time to win cool prizes. Pick up that phone and give us a call at 678-495-4345. Get ready to raise your vibe. It's tribe time.
Oh, if you could only hear us off air, folks out there. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Tim Ray, your co-host with Shannon McVeigh. And we are talking about dating exes and all the mess that occurs with breaking up and getting involved in a relationship.
And I hope that I want to reiterate to you amazing people out there, the reason why we're here sharing our truth is for you, because we want to be honest. We want to put all of our darkness into the light, and then hopefully you guys will learn from us of like what not to do.
I don't say all of it. Jeez,
what do you? Well,
China, your darkness would probably scare people to death. You know,
really?
It would be that reaction, like that cauliflower thing on that lady's head.
Oh God, that was so disgusting. So, don't bring it up again.
So Shannon, okay. Before you read your question, can I ask one other question about your about your dark side?
He's reaming me this morning because he got mad at me for saying a funny joke about him.
I am not mad
because
at her.
all of his girlfriends are probably watching right now.
I don't have multiple girlfriends.
You have like 3.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. Are you happy?
Yeah, you just said that on air. You're pissed somebody off.
Well, I'm just saying because you're, you scared them all off. That's why.
All right, what were you gonna say?
Okay, so
we're talking about dating, the one that got away.
I know, right? So with your situations, right? Do you ever think about why you're always running away from relationships?
Of course. Now that I'm aware of it. When you're younger, you're not aware.
I know. I
but
think
once
you and I
have. I
think you and I have a lot in common.
I do too.
I'm trying to point that out.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to create a laurel leaf.
Are we having an olive branch? Are we making up?
I'm trying to.
Thank you.
I don't know how long it'll last.
Okay. Well, thank you.
But go ahead.
I think that when you don't know what you're doing wrong, you don't know. But once your eyes are open, that's when you can start working internally.
This is what I think about you, and I'll about myself.
Please tell me.
I think we take commitment very serious.
Absolutely.
Like when I got married, I never fooled around on my ex-wife, I should say. And prior to that, I was like, well, I don't want to commit. But at the same time, when I had different relationships periodically, and when I was in relationships, I didn't fool around. However, you get hurt, right?
Right.
And then you want to run away before you get really hurt. And I think that's a common theme that you and I have.
So explain that to me.
That we run away
before we get more hurt.
Yeah,
so you think that?
I think it's an intimacy challenge.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. I think that self-sabotaging. I think I self-sabotage maybe because.
Why?
I think maybe because I don't feel good enough.
Well, I mean, we all have that dilemma of not being enough. I mean, most of us do. Most of us do not feel enough, and that's why we get involved in codependent relationships, and we expect the other person to fulfill our needs and to solve our problems and be there no matter what, unconditionally, which is really conditionally.
Right.
And so I agree. I think that's all part of the whole process of, but when you do run away from situations, we're really running away from ourselves, aren't we?
Absolutely. But then again, if you're not, you can't change something you don't know. So it's all about becoming aware.
All right.
Real quick, Steven said, thank you for your transparency, Tim Ray and Shannon McVeigh. You are love.
Oh,
that is awesome.
Steven.
And Terry is listening from the app. She said, love y'all. We love you too. And keep listening, guys. UImediaapp.com. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Have you ever cheated in a relationship? Did we already talk about that?
Did
you answer that? Have you cheated? No, you said no.
No.
You've never cheated in a relationship?
Well, when I was younger, it was kind of like a relationship, and we did say we were going to be monogamous, and I wasn't at one point.
Yeah, I mean, that's cheating. Okay.
Is that a word for cheating?
No, you ready for this question? This is a good one. Have the types of people you dated changed throughout the years?
Ooh, good question.
Is so good,
That
Otis.
is great. Okay, so I would say for me, it's a common theme, the type of person I'm attracted to.
Which is?
The opposite of you.
Hot mess
the opposite
express.
of you, whatever that is.
That is so mean.
I'm sorry.
Ow.
I would say that I had matured. So I'm more so when I was younger, I wanted more people who were more not like me, and now as I'm older, I want more people like me.
I agree with that completely. Because when we're younger, I think we think the whole Paula Abdul "Opposites Attract" song, which was clearly out before Paula Abdul. But the older you get, the more you realize commonalities are important. You want to have the same kind of level. You want to be able to go and enjoy the same things. If it's always so different, then you're.
And I don't know if it's interest. Because I don't think you have to have the same interest. I think it's more so you have to have the same style or the same way about each other to be able to appreciate the different interests.
We're taught to compromise so much that it's almost compromising becomes a sacrifice for who you are. I believe that.
Right. Then why do you think most relationships go south?
Probably because of that reason, because we're not smart with who we choose. We go off of whims or feelings. Don't go off of feelings, guys, because feelings are fleeting.
Well, yes. Feelings are fleeting, but emotions
Guard your heart.
But I don't know about that, Shannon. I think that's where people you ever been with a woman or a man who's tainted? Anybody been with a woman or a man who's tainted? Not you. You probably go both ways. All I know.
No, what?
But with a been in a situation where that person's bringing their luggage onto you where they're holding their heart back because they've been hurt so many times,
right?
And and they're setting you up to hurt them.
You think so? So that's self-sabotage.
I think it's self-sabotage.
So that's why becoming conscious is very important.
It's critical because now, why would I want to put all my pain and suffering, make it your responsibility so you don't hurt me?
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
we do it all the time. And in relationships, we don't realize it,
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
I was going to say, Maria said, open the heart to all, compassion.
Right.
How do you say this name?
Yes. Angelus.
Sorry. He said, fixing myself before dating.
Ooh.
That's smart.
See, but yet at the same time, though, this is where I have a challenge here for everyone. Or at least a thought-provoking challenge.
An intention?
And then maybe even an intention. But I'm gonna maybe turn this to an intention later on. But it's when we go out with we get engaged. We're not engaged, but we're involved with someone, and we want to we want to be alone because I want to fix myself when I'm alone, right? I don't want to date anybody because if I date somebody right now, I'm gonna create the same theme I did in the last relationship, and I got to do some growing. I get that, but sometimes we go to extremes where our hearts hurt. We don't date anybody seriously for a long time. And then all of a sudden we're missing out. When you get involved in a relationship, I don't care if it's a short relationship or if it's a long-term relationship, we grow exponentially if we choose to grow with that person. We grow or within ourselves exponentially.
Well, let me tell you why.
Why?
Because the longer you are with somebody, the more you guys start to become one. And that's why when you break up, you're literally missing part of yourself.
Well, okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm not even referring to that growing with that person. I'm talking about when you're involved with someone in a relationship, you're going to grow personally. You're going to grow exponentially more so than when you're alone and thinking you're working on reading all the self-help books and you're pouting or you're alone and you don't want to get involved. You go celibate for whatever period of time. And women do a lot more often.
Celibate?
Yeah, celibate.
I went celibate before I got married.
I know, but some women celibate for years.
Yeah, well, you know what? Good for them because they're not just going to give it away.
What's with this? Give it away. Give it away.
Give it away.
What, no, listen, why not?
You ready for this?
Give it away to everyone.
You guys, this is fascinating news. I want to know what you think about it.
What?
It says to consider a rebound. If you're just breaking up, it's saying that a study found that individuals who had a rebound had a reported greater well-being than those who stayed single.
Wow.
What do you think about that? I feel like, what was that old saying? The best way to get over somebody is under somebody. Have you heard that?
I don't know, but is that what you live by?
No.
I never heard
This isn't
before.
personal. Let's just talk. Like, this is saying consider rebound. So if you are out there hurting, maybe you should consider a rebound. I think it's fantastic.
I don't
advice. Because why? We're not meant to be alone. If it feels good for you, and to be around that person, then just do it.
Okay, but what about the balance? And I hear you, but what about the balance of going back to extremes where you are, you're manifesting, because you're manifesting the same type of person, just in a different body and look, but it's the same theme. The guy's an abusive, or the girl is a hoe, or
well, you're doing that because you're not conscious. You have to change yourself, or else you're going to keep. It's the definition of insanity. You're going to keep picking the wrong person because you're not growing yourself.
Okay.
So you need to become aware once again.
Okay. So when that happens, when you do go out with that person and you realize, my God, this is Jack from a previous relationship, or this is Susie from.
Right.
It's just a different look and different person. What do you do? Would you shift it then and there, or do you break up with the person?
You break up with the person. You move on because you realize it hasn't worked for you in the past. You've got to move on and choose wiser.
You see, that's where I disagree with you.
So you think that you should be a glutton for punishment and just you made a wrong choice and this person's not who you are? You can't change a person, Tim.
Well, 5%.
They've got to evolve on their own.
They do, but 5% of personalities change in a lifetime, so not much change there. But
exactly.
Their behaviors and actions can change drastically based on being conscious of what's going on. So if you are in a relationship, in my opinion, if you're in a relationship and you realize, oh my God, I just married the same person who I wanted to run away from, I don't think you have to go right to break up and get rid of the person. I think you could be consciously aware of it and then start shifting that within yourself, and then see if your partner is willing to shift with you.
Level up or level out.
There you go. You go. What do you think, rather than just throwing a whole marriage away?
Well, if we're talking about marriage, it's different than dating.
Well, I'm saying, why is it different than dating? Because millennials are not getting married these days.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
I don't know, because I believe in marriage. I think that marriage is a beautiful thing.
Because it's a security thing, safety thing.
It is safety, but it's also, this is my husband, this is my wife. That means more than this is my girlfriend. To me, to somebody like me, it does.
All right.
Yeah, but you can't marry everyone though.
I know.
You gotta just, it's like that whole yoke. Understand the yoke.
The what?
Being yoked up. You have to have your equal. You have to find your partner,
Yeah, equally yoked.
Yeah.
Listen,
not the crazies.
Right.
And talk about, listen, you ever see that thing called the crazy hot scale matrix?
Oh God, you showed me that when you first hired me.
Well,
do you know that?
No, really?
Yeah, you're like, this is the hot.
Well,
it's on YouTube or something.
I shared that with my boys, and even though it's kind of it comes across a little bit what's the word? Condescending, maybe? I don't know. But there is some truth to this crazy hot matrix. Do you not believe that?
I don't believe it.
Oh, Shannon, you're just trying to. Wahid, any truth to it?
I believe so.
Otis, you know what we're talking about?
I was going to ask, what is the hot matrix?
Okay. Find it
Guys,
on there.
There's
Find
so
it on,
much masculine energy in the studio today. I need Greta to hurry up and get here so I have some feminine energy.
Listen, find it. We're gonna play it during the next half of the tribe time. It's on there. I'll find it myself on here if I have to.
Why don't we put it on the good news
I think it's important because I think we could talk about how this kind of people perceive it. And then there's a matrix for women too. It was the cute versus money matrix.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to watch it then.
All right, guys.
See.
All right.
We have a good question about that. We have so many amazing things coming up.
Yes, we do.
We still have to talk about this. And I want you guys to start thinking about this question. What is the biggest lesson you've learned from a relationship? So did you hear me? Don't say it now because we're going to go to break.
Right. Biggest lesson.
But think about that, guys, and tell us what you think.
Okay.
And Marius, I hear you. He said, I'm supporting you, Shannon. Mwah. I hear you. Guys, when we come back, we have more about dating. We have our emails.
And our hot, crazy matrix. We're going to play that. See what you guys think.
No, we're doing that in the good news segment.
We'll see. We'll see. I think we'll be able to get it here. We'll see.
All right. We'll be right back with Awaken
Hey,
Atlanta.
guys, 45 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Looking for comfort, relaxation, and special face and body treatments? Then be our guest at Equinosio the Spa, North Atlanta's premier natural day spa located in Roswell, Georgia. A relaxing way to treat yourself and your loved ones. We offer custom facials and skincare, personalized massages like our CBD massage for chronic pain relief, nail care with zero-gravity chairs, natural lash lift, and more. All set in a relaxing and refreshing spa environment. Everyone needs a place to relax, unwind, rewind, and escape. Find it at Equinosio the Spa, where wellness is beauty. Schedule your appointment today by calling 470-639-1599. Again, 470-639-1599. Or visit our website at equinosiothespa.com. That's EQUINOZIO, thespa.com to find out more.
Tribe Time.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. We want to thank our sponsor. Do you know who it is?
Yes, I do.
Equinosio Spa.
Yes.
It's Atlanta's premier natural day spa.
Hmm?
Schedule your appointment with them today.
These guys were great. I mean, they really they came in studio.
They did?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
come I didn't get to
I don't
see
know.
them? I get left. I'm the redheaded stepchild of UI Media. All right.
Kind of.
Ready, guys?
Yes.
We are talking about the one that got away. We're talking about everything dating. And what I asked, the question before break, I said, what is the biggest lesson that you learned from a relationship? And I think this is important to talk about so we know how to fix ourselves going into the next relationship. So what is the lesson that you've learned?
Caretaking, giving my power away, I think, in relationships. And then also intimacy, being scared to be intimate and then coming up with excuses why not to be intimate.
That's interesting because you said caretaking, giving your power away. My biggest lesson that I've learned from a relationship is self-worth. Giving my power away completely. So we both have the same thing.
I think on
so
the
I
same
wonder if
life
there's
pattern.
a lot more people out there like us that learned that the
Yeah,
hard
and
way.
usually it's if from a guy perspective, it's usually more taking, but it's also controlling. Guys are more likely to control in relationships than females.
And
than
if you're
women.
a female and you allow it, you're going to create a monster. So you got to not allow it from the get-go.
And what's fascinating about that is that when certain girls, we're stereotyping because sometimes girls can be very controlling in relationships. In fact, most girls now are looking for the beta males so they can control them because they're so controlled by the alpha male.
Oh,
And so
I
they
would
go
not
they go
want a
they
beta male.
go to extremes. My God,
I
Jen.
would not want a beta male. Stop crying already. Please go fix your truck. Hunt and gather. Get some dip in your mouth. Do something manly.
God, she would just be horrible as a deal with a beta male. That beta male would be like 2 inches tall, walking around.
Stacy said the best lesson I have learned and am still learning is to stand up for myself. So along the same line. So all of us have the same lesson.
Okay, but this is my point. We want to demonize the men, the controlling man.
No.
Hold on. I'm telling you, most people demonize the controlling man.
Okay.
And this is where I think where people, I always say in every relationship, all the time, it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
It's 50% there. Even though you may have a controlling man in a situation, but when the woman gives her power up to that man, the man's going to take more control, more control. It's almost like a balance of energy, right?
Yes.
And it gets in balance, but it's in balance because less energy for the women, more control for the man, right? However, that same man, you guys could get divorced, and that same man, or you get broken up in your relationship, and that same man could go out and meet somebody else where a woman doesn't give her power up.
Yes.
And he will never go back to that level of control and of the issue because he's being balanced with that other person.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's like an energy thing, but at the same time.
But he has to level up and realize what he's doing
Exactly.
to attract that other woman in his life that would actually hold him accountable.
It's all how you're vibrating, right? If you're vibrating low, you're going to attract low.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, so there's an epidemic, at least back in the day, more so than I'd say now, because a lot of women are raising, like the feminine rising, a lot of the energy is rising up, and it's being seen as more power, right? To become more empowerment. So the men are not as controlling as they would have been if the women wasn't rising up. So I think it's a big difference there.
I agree.
Do you agree with me?
I agree with you.
For the first time in the whole freaking show, you finally agree with me.
Well, you finally figured it out, sir. So we have a question for Tim and for Shannon. Shannon, have you ever dated a man for his money? And Tim, have you ever been a sugar daddy? Okay, me, never. I've never dated, but I've had plenty of opportunities. I just could never go there.
Yes.
You don't believe that?
Do you guys believe that?
I swear to
Shannon,
God.
what is your love language?
Affection.
No. What's your love?
What do you think it is?
Gifting,
Gifts?
yeah.
I think mine is all of the love languages. No, Tim Ray, I had a really handsome director into me in my 20s, and he was very wealthy, and I could have had a life with him. He told me he was in love with me, but I didn't. I couldn't. I could not ever date for money.
Okay, so
that's saying no. You're swallowing your soul.
Okay, so you'll go up to the edge for the gift and money, but you're not going to sell your soul to be in. You want to be in love.
Yes.
You don't want to be in control.
I want to be in love.
All right.
Love is such a powerful thing, and I do want my man to have money because who doesn't? Have you ever had a freaking your gas is going to shut off, or your electricity is going to be off? Nobody wants that anymore, especially in their 30s. There's nothing wrong with wanting a man that's self-sufficient.
Shannon, I do believe that.
And established.
I do believe that about you.
Oh yeah, well, thank you, sir, because it's true.
Okay, well, barely, but I do believe it. The next thing for me, sugar daddy, I tried that a long time ago, and
you did not.
I
would have never guessed you were somebody's sugar daddy.
Well, not sugar daddy. It was just like, it wasn't like created that way. It wasn't like there was an agreement or anything. It just kind of happened. It just kind of happened, and it was totally unsatisfying.
Was she younger than you?
Yeah, she was younger.
Clearly.
Than me. But I mean, it was totally unsatisfying.
Everyone's younger than this old man.
It was totally unsatisfying. And
it does. It sells your soul.
And it didn't feel right. And it was just like, and both of us were like, this is, and it was like, and that was it. But I'd never recommend anybody to do that because it's hollow.
Yeah, it is hollow. Stacy, really, Stacy?
What'd she say?
She just said, I know her. She has talked guys into buying her things, but she's never dated them.
Oh my God.
Teresa said,
that's
dating
evil.
101.
See, that's evil, man.
What do you mean I've convinced men to buy me things?
Yes, you do. You're like that's like the worst type of person.
She probably convinced him by telling him she would get married.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You lead him on, and then you get no. She does. She gets engaged, and then they give him all the stuff, and then she walks away.
Lie. You guys are starting such bad rumors about me. Teresa said, "Let's do a dating segment."
Dating segment, like what?
Like what we're doing probably, but like more often, maybe once a month. We should do a dating segment. Well, I'm starting a matchmaking thing. Remember that?
Yeah, I think we need to do that. But I mean, honestly, I would not.
Matchmaking services by Shannon McVeigh.
Yeah.
And Tim Ray. I love that our names rhyme.
Yeah, right. Shannon McVeigh.
All right, are you guys ready for this email?
Good. Yes, email.
I gotta find
email
it.
me, lady.
I want to find it.
Email me.
Hello, Shannon and Tim. My name is Melissa, and I'm from New York. I was writing to get your advice and opinion. I'm 43 and a single mom with 2 boys. I have been divorced for about 4 years now, and I've been dating sporadically. I recently found a great guy who's very charming and attractive. The only problem is he used to date one of my friends about 4 years ago. She's not my best friend, but she's still a good friend. At first, I was like, he's off limits. However, I have had a hard time finding a man who wants to settle down and be with just me. I want to discuss it with my friend, but deep down, I would choose the man over my friend. Am I a bad person? What would you do? Have you ever dated a friend's ex? Do you want me to answer first?
Yes, you go first.
Girl, you date him. All is fair in love and war.
Whoa. That is so
They dated 4 years
Machiavellian
ago.
of you.
Who cares? She's into him. She's ready to move on with her life. Let it go.
Well, what about the girl code?
Yeah, I can see that if it's like your best friend or like a good, I don't know. It's 4 years ago.
Do you believe in that, by the way? Do you believe that there's a guy in a girl code that you can't date the ex no matter what?
I think like
if one of your girlfriends, right? Like I don't know who's a close girlfriend of yours, but one of your close girlfriends was like, listen, I really loved I don't know how many boyfriends, God knows how many fiancés you had, but which one, whatever which one, and they said, listen, I really love him and I want to be with him. How would you feel about that?
I would probably not be their friend anymore, but good for them.
Oh my God,
but
really?
Good for them because all is fair in love and war.
So you would befriend.
I would defriend a good friend. If one of my good friends started dating,
she's just peeing on her territory right now. She wouldn't do it. She would not defriend your friends.
You don't think so?
No, I think you're all talk.
Well, we'll see if any of my friends are dumb enough to do it. No, I actually have really solid friends. My friends, there's girl code for sure, and there should be guy code. But this is
code, man. Guys are bad about that.
Listen,
Like, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. It's just kind of she fell on my penis, you know? I don't know what happened.
You know what? What did you just say?
I'll just say that's the guy code.
This is the thing. If they dated about 4 years ago and it's not a good friend, or it's not a best friend, but one of the friends, why not? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I talk a lot of trash, but if one of my friends came to me and said, Shannon, I am into... even my ex-husband, I'd be okay with it. I really would. I'd be like, hey, guys, want to go dinner?
Tribe, what do you think? Give us a call if you want, 678-495-4345. What do you think you would do? But listen, read another email.
That's the only email we have.
Oh, okay.
Teresa said, get into communication with the friend. And Stacy said, nope, never date a friend's ex.
Oh, come on, man. That's just so extreme. I mean, because you covet what you see every day.
What do you think? You didn't even give her advice. Have you dated an ex, a friend's ex? What do you want, Jesse's girl? You covet what you see every day. You want Jesse's girl? That's probably you.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking. No, I don't think I have.
Diana said, if I can open this comment, I don't care if my friend dates my ex because I'm not in love with him at all. And if it makes them happy, then they have my blessing. See, she's right.
Well,
good for you.
I think that's fair.
What, Tim?
That you don't have to go to extreme. Like like anybody you touch, nobody else can touch, even though you're not with or care about them anymore.
Okay. So what's your advice for this person?
I would say do it.
Okay. Real quick because we only have a couple more minutes and I really want to go on to what to do to get over an ex because there's a lot of people with broken hearts right now. We probably have like 3 minutes left. So let's go over this.
Okay,
ready?
Let's go.
This is interesting to me. Listen to sad music. I would think that would make me want to shoot myself in the face.
Every when you break up with someone, every sad song out there about relationships is a codependent song like I can't live without you. Come on, yeah, you can. You can live without him.
Note to self, never do karaoke with Tim Ray. It's saying that a study found that listening to sad music can prompt positive emotions like peacefulness in the listener. Okay.
All right.
Reflect on your breakup. This is huge because if you actually take time to think about it, then you'll heal quicker. How many of us self-medicate because they don't want to deal? That's so me. Like, I don't want to deal with this.
Ice cream for the girls.
Yeah, glutton, especially for us number 7s.
Yeah.
Glutton's our 7 deadly sin. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
So glutton meaning everything. That's why most 7s are like addicts. We have to actively try to be able to handle ourselves because we don't want to handle anything. We like to be happy. And sometimes you have to deal with it. So you guys reflect, go through it. Hang out with your best friend. That's clearly true. After spending some quality time with your best friend, it can make you feel better. So it can also reduce stress in the body, which is something that you feel right after a relationship. So give them a call. Focus on the positives of the split. Let yourself grieve. Think of the things that you won't miss. I love that. And that's important too because what did we just say? We focus on the good, right? So we forget the bad.
Yeah, we make them saints. So we think they can never do anything wrong. And then all of a sudden you get back with the ex. You're like,
this is why
now I remember why we broke up.
That's why I think, guys, if it's an ex, just let it go. Move on. There's plenty of fish in the sea. You'll find something else.
But what if you're in a small little pond?
That's why you're not. And mentally you might be. Guess what? I'm not. My pond is freaking huge.
What a hoe.
No, what? Jeez, Tim Ray, you know what you have done to me?
What?
You've demonized me.
I have not. Shannon, you are the perfect angelic person out there. And listen, everything I say in reference to Shannon, and we both say, we have fun and kidding with each other. We do.
We really are.
We love each other and we think highly of each other.
We do love each other.
I know, as she beats me.
Okay.
But she does have some
Consider
problems.
a rebound, and I already told you guys that before break. Try something new, and I love this. Allow yourself this time to figure out about being adventurous. Sign up for a new cooking class, try a different workout, book a trip all by yourself. All have been shown to make you happier and healthier. And then give yourself time to process, which is important. So the more space you get from a breakup, the more you heal emotionally. That's because human beings are incredibly resilient.
Yeah. This is what I would do. Between breakups, I agree. I don't think it's if you're really got to figure out, if you're not leveling up and consciously growing yourself, and you're just all of a sudden you just had this very drastic breakup for whatever reason, take some time to meditate, still yourself, and think about what's the common theme. What are you attracting out there that is not serving you in that relationship? And don't look at the person being demon or evil or a horrible man or a horrible woman. Look at the situation where what is it that I'm giving out to attract that type of behavior, that type of person, so I can look at myself to shift my level of
and let's go with grace with that other human being, because they're just a human being and they're probably hurting just as badly as you are. So go with love and grace and understanding, even if you're not supposed to be with that person. That's okay.
And they're responding to your energy.
Yes.
So whatever energy you're giving them, they're responding to it in like. And so I think that's very important. So good for you.
All right.
Guys, we have Veronica Isles. She's here today, life coach, inspirational speaker, and YouTube blogger. And she is wonderful. I've interviewed her in the past, and you're going to love her more. You're going to be like, oh my God.
She's going to teach us a thing or two.
Actually, what you do with your exes. And she wrote a book. I think it's How to Get Back with the Ex in 25 days, something like that.
Really?
So I'm butchering it, I'm sure. But we got a lot more to come.
She wants to get back. Oh, I can't wait to talk to her.
More to
We'll
come,
be right
guys.
back, guys.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation. The United Intentions Foundation It's the perfect hour, and the stars are aligned. These conscious superstars are here to brighten your day. Listen to their stories as they connect, motivate, and build you from the bottom up. It's inspiration time with our awakened stars.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. We have our Awakened star here, Veronica Isles here. We'll bring her in a minute, and I'm so excited about having her on board. But first, I want to mention our United Intentions Seeds of Intention, Sprouts of Intention.
I feel like Vanna White right now.
Well, don't move around so people can see it. Make sure it's in the screen. These are our intentional planners, and I'll tell you what, guys, you're going to want to get these now because this is it's probably, to me, it's one of my favorite products that we have here because of the fact that it's like a Franklin Covey planner, and at the same time, you're able to create intentions and focus on what you want to create and manifest, and you can track it on a daily basis, as well as keep your task and yourself motivated doing your job. And I think you want them now because we're having a new version coming out, which is going to be even more expensive. So get these while they're less expensive.
All right. So. Wow. Way to sell it there.
Hey, listen, that's what I do.
You need to hire a speaker, man.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we have.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of that. So we have Veronica Isles, guys. She's a life coach, inspirational speaker, and YouTube blogger. And she's all about dating and relationships. And when she comes in, you'll see how beautiful she is and why she wants to get back with her ex, or why her exes want to get back with her.
There you go. Let's talk to her.
Veronica, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Good morning. Wonderful. Thank you. So, do you really believe in getting back with your ex? We got to just do it right off the bat.
What's the name of the book first?
Yes, How to Get Your Ex Back in 25 Days. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's personal preference. Sometimes people feel the breakup and they feel like there's more to the story. They have unresolved issues with their ex. They either want to, have a new chance at a better life with them, or they want to heal things. And I think it's totally fine to want that. And it's a personal preference.
Now, is that a little more healthy than the extreme where you go, Shannon?
Yeah, I'm like, it's an ex for a reason. Don't take him back.
No. What also may be driving that too is think of the baby daddies and the baby mamas. The ones that you actually have kids with that you're divorced or you never got married in the first place, which is more likely the case. And then you want to, like, for the child's sake, you may want to go back in a relationship. Do you think that's healthy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if there's children involved, I think that's a real strong reason to want at least a good relationship with that person. I think that any relationship can be healed, not just loved ones, but family relationships, broken friendships. I think that it's possible to come together in a better way.
Do you think that if there is children involved, that you stay for the children? You just kind of make it work?
I don't think you have to. I mean, I think that there's plenty of situations where, people have separated and the children are fine. I think, though, think in terms of harmony, think in terms of what makes you most excited and living your best life ever.
Wow.
I mean, this is so cool. Wouldn't you just want to go out with her? I mean, she's like, whatever, hey, get back in there. Hey, you want to go out? Hey, go out,
Yeah, you're way more laid back than I am, that's for sure.
Shannon be like, let me see your phone. Where are you going? So you must not always been like this. You must have learned this type of bigger 50,000 viewpoint on relationships. So what were you like in the past?
I was terrible in the past. Yeah, very unlucky. Got dumped a lot. Got treated badly. Yeah, I learned through the years and evolved, and I'm no longer like that now. And definitely, now I'm successful, and I help others succeed too.
I love that because you have a history. It says here that you've overcome many struggles. One is a 5-year abusive relationship, and the death of both your parents.
I did. By the time I was 24, they had both left me. So yeah, that was a lot to overcome. I mean, I didn't always have an easy life. I'm living a good life now, but it definitely was through hard work, determination, perseverance, setting those good intentions and really living for the moment and letting life deliver. And it's amazing how you can turn your world around.
And not give up, and how it's always the darkest before the dawn. And not to dwell on that, but do you mind going back there for a minute, just because there may be a lot of women who are struggling in abusive relationships? You were 5 years. What that look like? What that look like on a daily basis for you?
Well, I mean, I think when you're stuck in a situation like that, like, you don't really realize what you're going through. Otherwise, you would have left a lot sooner. And I think that, sending a message to people that might be in a situation like that, try to really, take a look at your life, take a look at the fact that you ideally want to be loved. This person isn't loving you, this person is hurting you. And I think that you have to really appreciate yourself, realize you're here for a reason, really value yourself and pick yourself up, because you will end up attracting someone who will love you and treat you right, and you don't need this person.
And now, is abuse the emotional abuse or physical?
I went through both. I mean, I think both are harmful. Obviously, a healthy relationship contains neither.
Right.
So I think that,
but does it not? Let's take a minute there, because sometimes what if it's just a man? What if a man is just rougher with their words? Or is that not?
Well,
like, what labels an abusive?
Back to hating Marines again, aren't you?
No, I'm just curious. What makes a verbal abusive relationship? What does that look like?
Well, I think something that hurts your feelings, something that makes you feel bad. Like, you don't want to feel that in a relationship. Like, what's the point of being with that person if they're going to be harming you in that way? I mean, I think that people can change, so people can, overcome these things. But I always say never to stick in a situation unless it's, it's changed. Like, you do not want to be around while the person is changing.
And you don't want the man to feel like he has to walk on eggshells, though.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well, at the same time, but say for verbal abuse, let's assume like it's like in a situation where you're so stupid. You're the say curse words. You're a slut. You're a hoe. You're
like everything you just called me before break.
but in jest.
Yeah.
And it's not true though. You're none of them, by the way.
Thank you.
But also but when you say on a daily basis, like this is like death by 1,000 paper cuts. The emotional abuse versus like almost. I'd rather probably get one good butt kicking than have to go through a daily barrage of verbal abuse.
Right.
Over years, right? And then because after a while we start creating this intention, or we internalize these comments and not even knowing, and on a subconscious level we internalize, well, maybe I'm not good enough, and it's reinforcing however we grew up. But Veronica, don't you think that programming, that conditional program you're having with your spouse, and hey, it could be, there's a lot of abusive women out there.
Right.
I mean, especially now.
It goes both ways. I mean,
Yeah.
it really does.
I mean, especially with these beta males now, I mean, a lot of the women are so controlled now. They're wanting to control, and they get a guy that they could just, handle and handle whatever reason, and it's just kind of like you're acting it out, just a different way. But this old programming, you're reinforcing this programming, right, with your childhood, but you're having energy that you're giving out to attract this girl or this guy to be in the abusive relationship. Do you notice?
Right.
Did you notice your energy level? What energy you were putting out to attract those guys that you did not think they're serving you?
I know how I did it. Like, I was not in a very good place. I didn't think very highly of myself. I was in a very low vibration. So it was obvious why I was attracting these things. But still, I think that even if you realize you're attracting them, like, it's not to say that you deserved it. I mean, I think definitely you deserve better. So raise your vibration, heal the situation, fix things, and find someone different.
Yeah,
That's at least my opinion.
So do you ever think that it could be a difference between light and dark, or do you always think that your energy level is what's attracting it?
I think your energy levels could attract darkness, but I don't think it's light or dark. I think that we match. It's like a law of physics. Energy matches each other. Like matches like, and if for whatever reason, and as we shift if we just shift our energy, as Veronica knows, if we just shift our energy, Veronica, doesn't it just people in our life either fall out or other people come in, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the way you change from within, and life changes all around you. I mean, every single aspect of your life can change. So it's like, what are you waiting for? Why not do it? Why not take the plunge? Why not just try it?
Yeah. When is it a time, in your opinion? When is it time to get out of a relationship? Like what for you? Because everyone's different. Everyone has their own litmus test, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that, if you're not waking up excited for the day, if you're not excited to see this person, if you're not feeling love in your heart, if you're not feeling like you're growing in any way, then it's definitely time to move on. But I mean, I think that, again, in your heart where, if this is the person you want to be with and have more with, and you should really ask yourself it from an honest level, like, why do I want this person back? Is it to satisfy my ego, or is it that I honestly love this person and will be able to grow with them?
So your book, How to Get an Ex Back in 25 Days, did you do this, I'm assuming? Are you with your ex?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So why did you break up with him in the first place?
Experience. What was that?
Why did you split in the first place?
I mean, it was messy. It was yucky. It's something I don't actually relive because it's not where I'm at anymore.
Right. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I've totally moved on from that point to the fact that it doesn't even feel like it was real anymore. I think that when you sort of decide on a new experience, you decide on a new outcome, like those old memories, they don't even feel valid. They don't feel like truth anymore. And that's why you start attracting different.
Right.
So to get your ex back, is your first step taking care of yourself?
Yes, absolutely. It's all about you. It's not about them.
Yes.
So after a breakup, people usually fixate on that other person, and that does not get them back.
Why do you think it is? And does it have to be that when you so easy to get into a relationship, like I said earlier, and it's so hard to get out of a relationship? Why is it so much harder on the outro than on the intro?
That's a good question. I mean, I think though, we make it what it is. Things can be easy that even appear to be hard, and vice versa. Like your judgment of what something is going to be is what you're going to attract.
And do you think sometimes getting back with your exes is more so because you're familiar with them? You're familiar with it?
Yeah, and so that's why you really need to ask yourself, like, who would excite me? Like, in terms of attracting someone back, don't think in terms of like waiting around for this person as if they're the only option. Think in terms of the best option for you, the best kind of person for you, as if you have every option. And this person is like only one of the many options. And are they good enough for you?
Right, right. No,
Do you believe that there's plenty of fish in the sea and you can always move on?
Well, I think so. Again, though, you have to do what excites you. Like, what makes you excited to wake up in the morning? What makes you happy? What makes your heart filled with love?
But what about like long-term relationships? Because I mean,
Mhm.
when you have the honeymoon effect, now Dr. Bruce Lipton talked about you could extend the honeymoon effect indefinitely, but
Yeah, sure.
but
Why not?
why not, right? But the majority of the people don't. Majority of the
Yeah,
people, they
it's
got their
true.
90 days and then things just fall apart.
Yeah,
All their baggage comes in and they expect
yeah.
that person to handle their baggage and the other person has to handle their baggage. And I mean, that seems to where the mess begins. And when we get back from a break, let's talk about some advice that you would give a
Mhm.
relationship that's to get past that hump to start really keeping that honeymoon effect in place. All right. We're talking to Veronica Isles, guys, life coach, inspirational speaker, and YouTube blogger. And we work with her. She's just
Good.
fantastic.
And if you guys have any questions, we're getting your comments. Go ahead and ask them, and I will ask Veronica.
Absolutely. We'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. 45 seconds.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Live every day with purpose with the Seeds of Intention Daily Planner.
A goal is just a dream until you write it down. Now, the awesome thing about writing things down is because in a year's time, you can see all of the specific things that are actually in your life right now. You can really chronicle the progression of the relationship and how you got from one goal to the next to the next.
To learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the commitment today to make the authentic change.
Awaken Stars.
Welcome back. We are live on the Awaken Star segment with Veronica Isles. And you guys want to reach her, you can reach her at, what's the best way? VeronicaIsles.com?
Yeah, and the YouTube channel.
Okay.
YouTube.com/VeronicaIsles.
What kind of things do you do on your YouTube channel?
I do a lot of relationship videos. I do travel videos. I do weight loss videos.
Wow.
Basically, law of attraction, better your life, change it all, attract money, everything.
So how did the law of attract, when did you really understand the law of attract? Because that's what we're talking. We're talking about matching frequencies.
Yeah.
This is Einstein's whole point. You want to experience a certain reality, match that frequency of that reality you want to experience.
Absolutely.
This is it, right? So when did this really come into play in your life?
When I was experiencing a lot of bad things, and I was like, why is this happening to me? And I heard about the law of attraction, but I didn't really understand it. And I decided to finally take the plunge and try it. And I realized what I had been missing all along, that it was so obvious. Things started to make sense. I looked upon my past and I realized why these bad things had happened throughout the years and why the good things had happened too. Like it was all things I had done to attract it. And I felt very powerful in that moment. And then things started to get better one by one.
How many years ago have you been practicing the law of attraction?
It's been over a decade. I think roughly
see?
around there.
And so for the decade, you've noticed a big difference still. It's consistent.
Oh yeah, and it keeps getting better. It's like we're always a work in progress. So yeah, it just keeps raising higher.
Isn't that crazy that not everybody's living this way? How? Because I think religion has a big part to do with that.
I think so too. But I because we give religion tells us to give our power over to something else.
Right.
You know. But you said something very important, I think, Veronica, is that it gets better and better. But I do believe everyone is living the law of attraction. Just a lot of the folks they're not conscious that they are.
They don't know.
And they're not conscious that they're manifesting the reality every nanosecond, which is a law of attraction. But once you become conscious of that, don't you go from being the victim to the creator of your reality?
Oh
good,
yeah,
bad, and the ugly?
you're the star of the show. You start realizing that wow, life is good. Even before the changes start happening, like you feel powerful, you feel in control, you don't feel helpless anymore. Like it's the best feeling in the world.
Right.
Helpless right there, with so many of us feel, and we're so afraid of getting the help and doing the work, because it is a lot of work, because you're
Yes.
examining yourself first, and that's a
Yeah.
scary place.
Yeah, for sure. But it takes willpower. It takes determination. I mean, it's like practicing a new skill, but it pays off. So why not do it? I mean, you
Right.
want to live a better life.
Sure.
We have a question for you from Steven. He said, Veronica, what are your thoughts about divorce and how to manage our emotions concerning the disconnected relationship?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of divorce, there's so many different situations that can bring you to that point. I think really look in terms of taking care of yourself, comforting yourself that every moment is going to get better, asking yourself what the ideal outcome is from this place. Like, are you trying to, heal a relationship with this person, or are you trying to move on? In either case, take care of yourself because you come first. Really place the focus on the emphasis on you being loved, whether or not you end up attracting this person or a brand new person. But know that you deserve love and that you deserve a happy ending in your situation.
Right.
You
Well,
just said your favorite word.
yeah, I think that's your favorite word. But you're right. And it's creating that reality, creating that happy
Yeah.
ending where, in your mind, because that's the intention you're putting out there. And see, I
Exactly.
think most people go through a divorce or that type of situation where, oh, it's gloom and doom, nothing's going to get
Well,
better.
because it's scary. It's the unknown. You're about to go into
Yeah.
unknown waters, uncharted waters that you've never done before. And you're just like, oh, okay.
It's exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my last 2 years of my marriage was miserable for me. I was just totally depressed, and I only stayed together really, and we both did for the kids' sake. It wasn't even for each other, and that was, I think, in hindsight, was a mistake. I think we lost 2 years of our life we can never get back.
That's interesting. I've heard this so many times. Sometimes the kids are enough. That's enough of a reason to stay together.
Yeah.
So
and to me, that's
you're saying that's
I,
not.
I think that's
okay,
just
you're
the
saying
opposite.
that's not.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Tell us why you think it's not too.
Well, because if you're not going to be happy, then what sort of example are you showing to them? I mean, I think they can sense whether or not you're really happy. So it's better to not be together and to be happy and thriving than to be together just to appease them, because it really doesn't help.
Right. And I think also with the kids too is, like for example, when I was not happy in the marriage, neither one of us was, and I didn't really give my kids full attention because I was
Yeah.
so unhappy. But when we got divorced, when I did have the kids, even though I didn't see them as often as I did when we were together, but I had quality time with them. I was present with them. I was joy, and they felt that, where they weren't getting that when I was seeing them every day. So that
Yeah.
quality time over the quantity time, I think, is a big piece of it.
For sure. I mean, definitely. I mean, I think you really need to ask yourself, in what scenario would I be most happy? And you really need to take care of yourself, because that's going to let you have the best relationships possible with everyone around you.
Right.
Okay, so you've written 5 ebooks on Amazon. What are they? Are they all about? Is it just personal coaching for?
Well, how to get your ex back in 25 days, and then there's a companion book, the 25-day challenge. Basically, that is 25 days worth of exercises that you can do to attract back that person, or to attract a specific person as well. There's meditations. There are fun exercises like contributing to the community, like volunteering. There's things to do every single day. So it's a structured approach. Then I have a book called Mindful Manifestations. That's all about relaxation techniques to start living your best life ever. There's Distinct Desire. That is all about attracting a specific person, and Creating with the Higher Self, which is basically just about sort of evolving to the point of attracting your best life ever.
And I love that about the higher self, because that's something that's all about, I say, source, God, connecting to God, right? And when you connect to that higher self connection to God, source, you really are on a path of unbelievable experience, because now you're not thinking the negative, because you're like, wow, this is ascension. This is where I could unfold and become more, because as we become more conscious of who we are, that part unfolds, and it can't help but unfold in our life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing the way you start small and it just keeps multiplying in a good way. You
Right.
start evolving more and more, growing more and more, having greater goals, doing better, for others. Like, everything just changes.
And I think that's even why some people have such a negative in each one of us in our life have probably had a negative like snowball effect.
Yeah.
Because our brains are thinking so much negativity, then we're going to continue attracting that. So that's why it's so important to think positive, people.
Well, and to and to look into a future that is scary, unknown, but it could be the most and it is. And I'll tell you what,
And that's a good way to look at it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Be excited about it.
Yeah, yeah, because you could either be either way. You could be scared of it, or you could be
Right.
you could embrace it, or you could look away
There's
from it.
nothing worse than staying in that middle zone where it's like lukewarm. Nobody wants to stay lukewarm. Either hot or cold is way better than that lukewarm.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, what's next for you, Veronica? What are you going to be doing?
A lot of travel. I leave for England on Tuesday. I'm going to be filming there. It's my dream vacation, which I manifested. So I'm super excited about that.
And what are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing in England? Filming what?
Filming in awesome places that I've never been before. So yeah,
Wow.
I film travel videos. Basically just my usual message, but in a fun location. So yeah, you can follow my adventures. I also would like to speak in front of groups. I'd like to attract that as well because I do a lot of coaching through the computer screen. But it'd be fun to do face-to-face seminars.
I was talking to Panache. We were talking about this yesterday about there's something. It's great the digital version because you reach a lot of different people that you couldn't normally. But there's something having an event, having somebody be in your energetic field, and to have that connection energetically than just through a digital version of it, right?
Yeah. So I'm super excited about the future.
Well, so can I ask, I know that this is about dating and everything, but it does say that you lost 150 pounds.
Wow.
I did.
That's insane. How did you do that?
Through setting an intention that I no longer wanted to be overweight. And it happened. This was almost 20 years ago that I lost all of this weight. And, I formed that goal picture in my mind, what I wanted to look like. And I put the work forth and it came off. And yeah.
Wow. So was diet huge? Did you do keto or anything? Because keto's like the new in thing.
I did a diet called the New Beverly Hills diet, which is sort of food combining. It's not a very well-known diet. I actually attracted someone to tell me about that diet at the time because I was sort of in a space to, start really, kickstarting this. And it was amazing how someone just appeared like an angel and showed me this diet, and it worked for me. And
the New Beverly Hills diet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna look that up.
Yeah, well, we may have talked about that in the good news segment.
Yes.
So I think that's wonderful. And any advice you want to give people right now? How to get your ex back in 25 days?
Yeah, I think it's all about you. It's not about them. It's about reclaiming your happiness, reclaiming your zest for life, reclaiming what you felt like when you first met this person. You don't want to cry every day. You don't want to stop showering. You don't want to stop going to work. People do
Don't
this.
stop showering.
It doesn't help anything.
I love that. And listen, I want to thank you for endorsing our Seeds of Intention. Really, it's wonderful.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Right. Thank you.
So wait, you use this? You use the Seeds of Intention?
Yeah, she shares it with.
Yeah, I have used it. Yeah, they're
phenomenal.
incredible.
What has helped you the most? What's helped you the most of this one?
Yeah, I like the inspirational quotes. I like the structure of it. I think they're all around really good tools for someone to better their life, and I always recommend them to my clients.
Great.
That's fantastic.
So, I just think with the X's here, we got a couple minutes left here. With the X's here, it's. I love how you have a different perspective because most people say they're X's for a reason, and we never give them a second thought. But what if there was something like she's saying that there was something that needed to be healed?
But why just obsess with that?
Okay,
like,
I'll never obsess.
No,
yeah,
I'm not saying
because sometimes it's just not gonna work.
I know, but I'm just saying. But it's there may be healing. If you could heal that and then attract somebody else on a higher level because you healed that in the past, it's almost like fixing the problem before you go on to the next, right?
Right, because you don't want to keep attracting the same kind of relationship because that happens. It happened to me. I would attract the same kind of guy, even though they were completely different. I would go to great lengths to be with different people, yet they would all say the same thing, and they would all end in the same way because I hadn't healed from within.
Right.
I'm the girl that does one extreme to the next. With men, or you know what I mean? I would date, I need somebody so different, but it would always be the same, but they were so different than anything I have experienced. It was really weird.
And it takes a while to figure it out,
Yeah.
But this is wonderful. And so you're going traveling, and you have another book coming out?
I don't actually. My last book was released 2 years ago.
Okay.
I probably should write another one. So yeah.
Okay, so once again, tell us the best way how people could reach you and what.
Well, my website, VeronicaIsles.com, VeronicaIsles@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from anyone. You can visit my YouTube channel at youtube.com/VeronicaIsles.
Well, wonderful. And I'm so looking forward to seeing videos of you on YouTube with your trips to England. And
yes.
Listen, try to make the guy laugh, all right? The guy who sits with the guard, whatever they call that.
Oh, what are they called again?
I know. Try to make him laugh.
I know what you mean, right?
I know. I flash him something. That would work.
Oh my gosh, yeah, do that. That's good advice from Tim Ray.
I'm just saying, he'd probably laugh. I don't laugh. He'd probably be like that.
No, he wouldn't move.
You don't think he'd move?
You know how many times people do that to them?
Really? You think so? Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Hey, give your best shot.
All
Thank you,
right.
Veronica,
Thank you
so much for coming
Veronica.
on.
Thank
Great time. And we'll talk to you soon.
Guess what we have coming up?
Good news.
The good news segment. And you guys, this was a fun. They wouldn't let me get news today, so we're gonna see all the news that Tim Ray got.
No,
it's all up to him.
It's all Otis's. And
it's all
Tim
Otis.
Ray. Yeah,
Otis and Tim Ray.
And also, we're gonna play the video clip of Crazy Hot Matrix and see what you guys think of that situation there too.
Oh, we are the Crazy in Matrix that he was telling us about.
All right.
Great.
All right, guys, we'll see you shortly. Stay tuned. Be right back.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Hey, hello, WDJY 99.1 FM listeners. Isn't that the best content that you've ever heard? You are listening to UI Media Network. Keep raising your frequency.
And you can now watch UI Media Network's exclusive content on your TV screens. Look for UI TV on bingenetworks.tv on channel 12783. What's happening, world? It's time to dive into local and national news topics that are guaranteed to put a positive spin on your day. Join us as we discuss impactful headlines and local events designed to enrich your life. Enjoy your cruise with good news. The Good News segment is sponsored by Action Specialty Carts, Metro Atlanta's #1 dealer for golf cart sales, service, and rentals. Visit ascarts.com to learn more.
All right, welcome back. Wasn't that just fun?
Wasn't it just fun? We were talking about everything dating, guys. If you missed the first half of our show, you definitely want to go to uimediaapp.com to rewatch it. And all of our other shows, like the Match Made in Heaven.
Yes.
They are the cutest duo, are they not?
Astrology and numerology combined. I don't think everybody else in the world's doing that.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I think we're the first.
Beth
I think we're the
Peters.
first. Yes.
Speaking of phenomenal, I have my news that I want to talk about.
All right. Okay. Do you? Are you sure? Are we sure?
Yes. Have you seen the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No.
You guys.
That's a Tarantino movie.
I think it was one of the greater movies that I've seen in a really long time. And if you didn't get it and you walked out of the theater, like, call me and I'll explain it to you. That's my news. Yeah.
Wow.
It was that good. It was freaking amazing.
Well, give me your cell number real quick.
Yeah, right. No, no, sir.
Why not? All right, so check this out. Grasshoppers are invading Las Vegas. So this, invading. Isn't this like the end of the world now? Is that what's supposed to happen? When grasshoppers, or what is it?
Wait.
Or is it
no,
locusts?
that's locusts. Lotuses.
Same thing, same family.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
That weird.
So grasshoppers are invading Las Vegas. So this pizzeria came up with a solution. Guess what the solution is?
They're cooking the grasshoppers in their pizzas?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're turning grasshoppers into pizza.
That's disgusting.
A real life horror movie is currently transpiring in Las Vegas, where swarms of grasshoppers have been invading, and they're basically cooking up grasshoppers and put them on top for a topping on pizzas.
Only in Vegas.
Well, but is that wrong? Grasshoppers have protein, aren't they?
If that's wrong, then I don't want to be right. No, that's disgusting.
You wouldn't eat that?
No. But maybe if I was on Naked and Afraid, like Survivor,
you'd have to eat that.
But I'm
right?
not. I'm in America, and I would rather eat from a trash can than eat grasshoppers, probably.
Well, but some probably cultures think grasshoppers are very delicate.
They do the chocolate grasshoppers,
grasshoppers.
Right?
Yeah, you ever have a chocolate grasshopper?
No, thank you.
Oh, Stacy said Vegas.
I'd rather go to the stratosphere.
Oh yeah, exactly. Vegas. I mean, a lot of drunk people are going to be eating them though.
Oh, like really? This is a new topic. What is it?
Vegas looks insane. The pictures and videos are crazy. So maybe, Stace, if you can post a video or a picture on our Awaken Atlanta Facebook page, you guys can go see what Vegas looks like.
That's.
Right
I
now,
mean,
all the
what's the phenomenon behind that? I mean, there has to be some attraction going on.
Well, I remember when I was actually on 104.1 The Edge back in Albuquerque, there were a crazy moth supply. Like the moths it was scary. People were afraid of walking out. I don't know. What makes that stuff happen? And what makes them all segregate to a certain place?
I don't know. But there's something going on.
What do you think it is? End of the world stuff?
No, I think all this
vaccines.
I think it's probably chemtrails. I think it's something going on where their food sources being depleted in one area, and I do think it's a lot of it's manipulation to make it look like it's the end of the world, so they can put their crisis into position.
Do you remember years ago when the birds just fell out of the sky and then all the cows died? It was like years ago, and like 1 week, all like hundreds and hundreds of birds just fell out of the sky.
I remember the fish loaded
and
up
then
on
the fish,
loaded up to
the whales.
Yeah,
beaching.
So, but why do you guys think this happens to like a certain species almost at a time?
I don't know. I think whales and dolphins are much more smarter than humans. So I think maybe they're trying to tell us a message, like get your act together, humans.
Yeah, but all the birds that just fell out of the sky to die, what do you think that was?
I'm telling you, they're putting poison and chemtrails and metals in the sky every day all over the world. And you don't think there's affecting the climate? You don't think it's affecting our minds? It's affecting our dehydrating trees and causing. I mean, guys, this is man-made. All right, it could be alien, created, but it's man-made and being done every day. And if you don't know what's going on by now, go outside and look up in the skies and watch these planes create these spider webs in the sky. They don't go away like a contrail. They stay there. And once you find out geoengineering, what they're putting in there, it's going to destroy everything. And so it's a reality we got to deal with. And I don't know why people don't wake up
Tim,
to that
how do you feel about vaccinations? All right. You ready? You know what you always say about throwing the video games out the window?
Yes.
16-year-old won $3 million at the first ever Fortnite World Cup. So they actually have a World Cup for Fortnite and other video games.
Hold on. You know, what's his name? Who's the top Fortnite guy? What's his name? Grasshopper?
No, Ninja.
Oh, Ninja.
How do you know that? I don't even know that.
My son had me watch some ninja shows, and he's pretty cool. But and I know how to. I never played Fortnite, but I watched my son play Fortnite. I try to like bond with him, like he doesn't talk to you, so let me just bond with him on his video games, and I'll just watch for a little while, and so you kind of learn a few things what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Ninja is like this top guy, and he gets like millions of dollars a year to do it, right?
Sure, he got $500,000.
$500,000.
Yes, and endorsements and everything.
Wow. And so
that's every 14-year-old's dream.
I know, to sit on their butt and play video games all day long. That's like the worst thing you could ever do to a child, is to have them sit there and watch video games all day long. I mean, it is not right on any level, in my opinion. What do you think?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say there's a opposing argument. I mean, it's a pretty big industry.
You think Otis is a video gamer?
I do. I really do. Are you, Otis?
I used to be, but I just like picking at you guys, to be honest.
Okay. I do. I really was like, oh, Otis gave me this news. He's a video gamer. He's a gamer. You have the gamer chairs and like.
Listen, I mean, what you gained from that was what, Otis? Good finger,
Well, you said
coordination.
The smasher.
No, carpal tunnel, you mean? All right.
All right. Well, hey, what do you do? All right. So let me tell you this here. This is nice. This is a nice little article here. Veterans are finding renewed purpose through scuba diving missions to protect coral reefs. Because veterans, they always want to protect and help, right? So now they're putting it to a point where now they're able to, help out, dive, and help our ecosystem. I mean, and also many of these, it's very therapeutic for veterans who struggle from PTSD.
What are they doing for the coral reefs?
They're probably going down and they're, taking out all the
Tim,
bad
great
things
news.
that are in there.
You're so good at news.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me a second. I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They're, currently getting messages out there. They're helping the coral reefs. They're
How?
They're policing it. They're making sure no scuba divers are tearing it apart, and they beat them up if they go down there.
Did you just start another rumor?
Yeah, kind of.
Jim Ray's full of rumors today.
Do they beat them up in the water?
Yeah, they beat them up in the
Under
water.
the water?
Yeah, under the water.
They're
Actually,
fast asleep on the
what they're
traffic
doing, I'm telling you right
lights.
now, they're applying antibiotics to more than 1,200 corals.
There
And
you go.
There you go. And their police report that they often experience.
How do you feel about the antibiotics being applied?
Well, 75% of success is slowing the disease. I guess
So are you okay with antibiotics being used for coral reefs? They're alive.
As long as you're balancing them with probiotics, then you'll be fine.
Give them some kombucha.
Give them some
You
kombucha.
just go down there and give them
Give
some
them some kombucha and some antibiotics, and they'll be fine.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden's son has been killed after $1 million for his capture. He was reportedly killed 5 months after the United States offered $1 million in cash for his capture, dead or alive. He was only 23.
Really?
And he was in a hiding place in Pakistan, Afghanistan, possibly Iran.
Okay, do you remember all what went down with that?
I sure do. I remember the whole 9/11.
Really?
I remember when they captured bin Laden.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you think bin Laden worked for the CIA?
Is there proof of that? Because
Yes.
I don't know if I trust
Yes,
you.
there's proof of that. We know for a fact that he worked for the CIA.
Do you know?
Now, he might not have been at that point, but he basically worked for the CIA. Let me tell you about the CIA guys. They are all deceivers, all right? They're manipulators, they're deceivers. They're trained to deceive and manipulate. And from Mossad to CIA, that's what they do. Is that like a break we got to take?
I love you. No, it's just soapbox music because you just go off on these freaking tangents.
Well,
We're all
I'm just
stuck
saying,
listening.
when you first, this is my old saying here. When you first practice to deceive, what a tangled web you weave.
I haven't heard that. So Osama bin Laden worked for the CIA. I hadn't heard that.
Well,
Guys,
vet it
disclaimer,
out.
that's Tim Ray's opinion,
It's not.
Shannon McVeigh's.
Go
not,
vet it out. All right.
Not all of United. You know what? I respect probably
Saddam Hussein was put-
90% of what you say, but then there's that 10% that's so out there.
What, aliens?
Well, you believe in like Nordics and Greys and
13 different species that I think we
see?
know of.
Ugh.
But
Cringy.
I will say this. Hell, they're eating grasshopper pizzas. You think, if they're going to do that, why can't we talk about aliens?
I love it. Action Specialty Carts wrote, is there drug testing at UI Media? That's so funny.
No.
Yeah. We need to incorporate drug
Why
testing.
he's like, absolutely not.
Everybody is drug tested except for Tim.
Exactly. It's Tim Ray that needs it. Stacy said, I love the soapbox music, Wahid.
That was good.
Jason said, good to see you both again so soon. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Stacy.
Steven said, thank you for the news.
There you go. There you go.
But bin Laden's son was a teenager when he died.
Do you know what these guys used to do? These crazy guys, they would go into their sons would go into schools, like high schools, and they would just take girls from high schools and they take them back and rape them.
That's terrible.
This is what these guys did. They would go in there, and the teachers would round up the teachers. Teachers would pick. They have to go pick certain
don't tell
girls.
me anymore. I'm gonna cry.
And they take them with them, and I don't know. They put them in a harem, or they would just rape them, and they would become, and then they discard them.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the children were afraid. This is sad. You just made it sad.
Well, this is why they're saying there was $1 million. What was it? $1 million? What did it say? How much was it?
$1 million.
$3 million.
No, that's the Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
$1 million, dead or alive.
But but that's not enough. For doing some type of behavior like that.
Why do you think,
they do that
listen to
school after
this.
school after school after school. They would do that.
Why do you think Barack Obama ordered Osama bin Laden's body to be washed, wrapped in clean linens, and buried at sea?
Because Barack Obama is working for the New World Order, and so it was Saddam Hussein and the CIA and on all these guys were. They're all working for the same team.
It's the Muslim custom, right? Burial custom.
Yeah.
So they gave him some respect, even though he killed almost 3,000 people with his 9/11.
Well, but they did.
What are you gonna say about that?
Our own country did that. Our own government did set that up.
Do you guys believe that too? What do you think, Otis?
I don't know, but speaking of the CIA, I just saw a documentary about J. Edgar Hoover and the whole cross-dressing thing and his connection with the mob. That was interesting. So,
wait. Oh, well, the mob, I'm okay with the mob.
Why?
The
You
mafia,
okay with the mob?
the Italian mafia, I'm more okay with because my family's like, I swear to God, at my papa's funeral, he was full Italian. There were all these men in like black suits and black cars, and I was like, Mom, who are these people? And they were all in the front row.
So you're okay with the mob, but
yeah, they protected me my whole life.
But you know, God forbid you don't hear about how the certain towers were brought down, how there's inside explosives, and had towers next to it was a demolition, and how the planes were hijacked with the so-called Saudi Arabians that you never you can never really put your finger on. And then how they let all these they rounded up.
Ray, we can never put our finger on you.
Well, I'm just saying, guys. The Warren Commission of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and then they had I don't know what they called the commission for the 9/11, but you look into it, it's like a house of cards. It has no weight. It can't stand on its own, but it doesn't get any play in the mainstream media because these guys are still same folks who are running the mainstream media.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Let me tell you what Jason Cisneros said real quick about the whole Bin Laden thing.
Yeah.
He said he was buried at sea, so there would be nowhere to gather to worship him. Kind of like the ultimate FU to the Bin Laden family. That makes sense.
Good.
Stacy said J. Edgar Hoover was the head of the FBI. Okay. Terry said also not on board for conspiracy stuff. How do you feel about that?
Terry said that.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I think a lot of folks don't want to hear it, and I don't blame you.
Or you just go too far at times.
Or I just a truth seeker and I research the stuff, guys. I just don't say this stuff without 30 years of researching stuff, man. I mean, honestly, it's.
So do you ever think that you could be wrong?
I want to be wrong. You think I want to believe this type of stuff? I don't want to believe our own government allowed 3,000 Americans to be murdered. I don't want to believe that.
I don't either.
Of course not. But I'm not going to deny it and put my head in the sand and pretend like that didn't happen when all the evidence is pointing in that direction.
All right. Well, we got to take a break, but we are going to keep talking about news. We have 15 more minutes of that. And then at 8:30, we have Greta Full, president of Golden Homes, live in studio. She's going to teach us how to love and how to be compassionate. We'll be right back, guys, with Awaken Atlanta.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Are you ready to be the hero of your own story? It's time to put the power of your health back into your hands. Join us for our free 25-day journey to get your life back now from chronic illness. Our doctors and experts will guide you back to optimal health.
And in fact, if you think about these diseases, if you had a gene for Alzheimer's disease or you had a gene for macular degeneration, these diseases typically don't show up until you're much older in life. How in the world did you make it through the first 60, 70 years with no problems? Because your body has taken care of things. And if you just do a little bit to take care of the healthier brain.
Are you ready to be the hero of your own story? It's time to put the power of your health back into your hands. Join us for our free 25-day journey to get your life back now from chronic illness. Our doctors and experts will guide you back to optimal health.
And in fact, if you think about these diseases, if you had a gene for Alzheimer's disease or you had a gene for macular degeneration, these diseases typically don't show up until you're much older in life. How in the world did you make it through the first 60, 70 years with no problems? Because your body has taken care of things. And if you just do a little bit to take care of the healthier brain,
all right, we are back live.
Your body will take care of
news with Shannon McVeigh and Tim Ray. And boy, a lot of comments. And
this is just a headline from a talk that was given by the head.
They're not on board with the conspiracy, which is fine. You know, live your life in denial. That's fine with me.
Don't take it personal.
I'm not taking it personal.
Teach their own. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. That's what's beautiful about living consciously, right? You're open-minded to other people's opinions without shoving yours down their throat.
I'm just bringing another alternative to look at things rather than what the mainstream media is telling what to believe. That's all.
Misty Rowe, aliens, vaccinations, CIA, rotting bodies in the sea. Wow, way to start my morning. Good morning with Awaken Atlanta.
Misty also says, I have my Italian peeps too, Shannon. You don't scare me.
I love the mob.
Misty says, let Tim talk, conspiracy theories. Thank you, Misty. Love you. All right, so we do have another conspiracy here, but this is in mainstream, And I want you to listen to this news video of how they played it down, but yet they still brought it to attention, I guess, to cover themselves. But we're going to discuss this for a minute. So, Otis, hit it.
As a pollution prevention director at the Center for Environmental Health, Sue Chang is careful about the food her son eats.
We've definitely been taking precautions, eating more organic cereal and food whenever we can.
She recently worked on a study that found the Roundup chemical glyphosate in nearly 70% of the oat-based food items on school menus.
Doesn't need a lot.
So when CEH decided to test parents and children for the weed killer inside their bodies, she and her son volunteered.
Organic turkey sandwich.
And despite her best efforts, the lab found the weed-killing chemical used in Monsanto's Roundup in Gabe's body at much higher levels than his mom's.
Were you surprised? Because I work on this issue, I was not necessarily surprised, but I'm definitely concerned.
She says in all, CEH used an independent lab to test a dozen parent-child pairs who all reported consciously trying to avoid pesticide exposure. Still, the lab found 9 of the children had higher levels than their parents, half had twice the amount as their parents, and one had nearly 100 times more weed killer in their body.
That doesn't surprise me.
Environmental health scientist Asa Bradman was not associated with the study, but says while glyphosate residue in food is likely the primary source, kids are also more likely to come in contact with the chemicals at schools or parks.
They often have higher exposures because they eat more, they drink more, and they breathe more per unit of body weight than adults.
Now, the active ingredient in Roundup is increasingly controversial after a jury found it caused cancer in a local school groundskeeper. Monsanto says the weed killer is safe and points to the EPA, which says there are no risks to children or adults from currently registered uses. But health advocates argue the EPA primarily looks at studies funded by Monsanto. Official positions differ. The World Health Organization has classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans. The European Food Safety Authority says it's unlikely to pose a carcinogenic threat, while the California EPA lists glyphosate as known to cause cancer.
All right. Wow. Now, no conspiracies. So, here they are admitting Monsanto that the glyphosate causes cancer. But do you know where glyphosate comes from? It's the Roundup that they put on the seeds for the genetically modified seeds that are in all wheat and beets. 90% of all the wheat that eat, the bread, it's in the beers and everything, has glyphosate, and it stays in the system. And our kids, like cereals. Tell me, when I was a kid, I ate cereal all the time.
I still like a bowl of cereal sometimes.
It's highly glyphosate. This is why kids are much more higher levels of poison. And this is what's causing cancer. You're seeing this across the board. But you're not getting it out because EPA, FDA are saying it's all fine because all the studies they looked at were from Monsanto. Did all the studies that are safe.
Which that is so crazy in itself. Why aren't
it happens everywhere. The bees, everything, guys. It is so much, and the school systems are the one who are supporting the glyphosate increase.
Why is that considered a conspiracy? Because I feel like that's true.
Because the FDA and EPA are saying it's fine. They either bought out, sold, or they're that ignorant. Give me a break.
Yeah, they're not
ignorant.
that.
They're bought out and sold. International bankers are running the show. And that is the reality of what we're dealing with. But this is how serious this is, and our school systems are supporting it today. Your kids are going to school every day today, and they're getting doses of glyphosate in their food where it's much higher. And you go test it yourself. Go see how much your children have of glyphosate in their system. This is why people are on these gluten-free diets. It's not the gluten that's bad for you. It's the glyphosate in the gluten in the wheat.
So where do you shop? Where can you shop for your family?
You go Whole Foods. You got to go to Sprouts.
Do you know how expensive Whole Foods is?
Like, what do you do? 25%. It's 25% more expensive, but you'd rather die 30 years earlier.
No, but it's sad. It's like poor people have to die earlier, or poor people can't take care of themselves.
Or how about kids getting cancer? What about the medical bills there?
I know, but I'm saying it's so sad. Like, what do people do that can't afford it?
One, you got to be aware of it, and you got to start talking about it, and you got to start denying buying the stuff, and you got to demand changes. That's what I'm saying. It is out of control.
I wonder if you can just, at that point, take matters in your own hands and just start going and growing your own vegetables and things like that.
Tara says local farmers. I agree. And the ones are not using the GMO seeds. The GMO seeds are coated with the Roundup. Have you ever used Roundup before?
No.
I use it all the time for weed. I used to use it all the time for weed killers. And out in the back, and it kills it immediately.
I wonder how many dogs are sick then.
But it's not the small dose you get from one piece of food that has glyphosate in it, but it's every day you're eating it. It's compounded. It's a cumulative effect. It's building up the glyphosate in your system. It's taxing your immune system. It's inflaming the body. It's causing the low-grade infection, which then breaks the immune system down. So you can't protect yourself, and then the chronic illnesses starts running the gambit. And the chronic illnesses are off the chart today. One of the main reasons, there's a lot of reasons, but the glyphosate now that's in our food system.
And you know what? Nando said, even in your toothpaste, read the label. If swallowed, contact poison control.
Sodium fluoride.
So that's why you should look at like the kids use Tom's. Like Winnie will use that Tom's all natural.
But it has to say with no fluoride.
Right.
No sodium
fluoride
fluoride.
free. But
It's not fluoride. Fluoride's a natural element. It's sodium fluoride, which is the byproduct that they put into the toothpaste and our water system, really for not the reasons why it's taking care of cavities. Does the opposite.
So why do they put sodium fluoride in the toothpaste? Like, what is the reason?
Because they're basically dumbing down. It creates it calcifies our pineal gland, and it basically dumbs us down.
Do you know
over
what's
time.
crazy? I used to
Hitler, it's on the record. Hitler put all sodium fluoride in the water system to dumb down and make his population docile so he could convince them what to do.
in my school, no joke, it was my elementary school, and we would do fluoride washes, and they would give us like a little pink. It was pink, and it was in a little cup, and we had to like do it, and for 30 seconds, then we had to spit it out.
I did the same thing at my school.
Really? So, what do you think that was from?
But if you get the toothpaste that does not have sodium fluoride, you can swallow it, eat it. It's fine. It's healthy.
So, but was what we were doing with that fluoride wash? Is that sodium fluoride or is that fluoride?
Sodium fluoride.
That's crazy.
You know, if let me tell you how bad it is. The sodium fluoride. If you had a tanker full of sodium fluoride and it crashed and cracked and fell on cement, it would eat through the cement.
That's crazy.
And the glyphosate is the worst thing because our children are breaking down. That's why they're overweight. They're inflamed. They're having chronic illnesses. They're getting teenagers are getting arthritis. Come on, guys.
Do you think they're getting arthritis from gaming?
No, I think they're getting arthritis from the glyphosate and multiple other things. Like gaming.
Tell me about this. Since we're already in a heated discussion, let's make more people mad. You ready?
All right.
Tell us this.
All right.
Your next news story.
Georgia's law that blocks most abortions is unconstitutional, lawsuit says. The law bans abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy before many women know they are even pregnant.
So it's saying that it blocks it's unconstitutional. So they're not doing it?
No, they're trying to sue. Georgia laws blocks most abortions and is unconstitutional. They created a lawsuit to stop the abortion new policy.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I know how I feel, but how do you feel about it?
No, I wanted to, come on.
You're a woman. Let's know how you feel about it.
Tim.
Shannon, make a commitment. Which way are you on the fence?
I'm not.
Is it a woman's choice or is it not?
I'm not going there.
Why?
Because I'm not, I don't know yet. Because I thought I felt one way for a really long time, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I have more grace for certain situations.
Okay, I do too. I don't think it has to be either or. I think it'd be both. I think we could look at abortion as the last resort. I think the legislation perhaps maybe, I don't know what the actual the penalties are, but if people are going to jail, if you're pregnant, going to jail because you're having an abortion, then I think it's gone way too far. You're looking at teenagers. Like, you're not going to want your teenager who's scared to death to tell their parents or tell you that they had an abortion. All of a sudden, the police find out and they end up going to jail because they had an abortion. I mean, that's insane.
All right, Stacey.
It's insane.
She said, I hate abortion, but I would make the cutoff at 12 weeks. So what would you feel about that instead of 6 weeks at 12 weeks?
I don't know.
Does your opinion stay the same no matter what?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's all reasons. I think there should be a choice to do whatever you want, but I think we should be condemning publicly, socially, people just having abortions for abortion's sake. I think we need to take it more seriously. But at the same time, I don't know if punishing people in this process is the way to go. I just don't know.
Terry said, I think everyone can agree no one is for abortion.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they play it off so much these days, like it's no big deal. They take the after pill or just have an abortion. Some people are using abortion as a birth control method.
There is a woman that was on her 9th abortion, and she finally asked to see how it was done, and she saw the baby, and she started crying. She fell to her knees saying, I will never do that again. I was taught that it wasn't anything. They're taught that it's nothing. So when they see and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a baby.
Exactly. And I think that's something that I think we need to look at all this. Now, am I upset that Georgia has created this this early 6-week pregnancy? No, I think they're bringing a lot of light to this misuse of killing humans and babies. I mean, and if you don't think, I don't know when a soul moves into the actual physical body. It could have been, right in conception. It could have been, 6 months in. I don't know, but I do believe that the soul's there before the baby's actually born.
It makes me really sad talking about this because I just feel like our world is so dark. I feel like that's why we need people that are going to just go out and love and show grace because it's so dark.
Well, and I think we just need to bring it to light too. I think that's part of it, don't you think?
Yeah. Terry said, I mean that there should be a choice and it's a medical decision. The law is unconstitutional.
I don't know. It's just a tough. I mean, it seems like we go to extreme, like Parenthood.
Planned
Parenthood. I mean, these guys are evil people in there. I mean, they're not running it in a way. It's a business. They're selling abortion parts on the market. You have who's that? Nancy, what's her name, was involved in and I mean, these guys are taken to the next level. I mean, it can be seen as even sacrificing children, to Moloch, whatever these crazy Satanists, Luciferians think these days.
Misty said education and transparency will decrease abortion rates.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Education is key, and that's why I love that our kids, like I've noticed, I have 2 teenagers. They're not out having sex. They're really not. They're like
for now,
but I'm proud of that. They know that like there's just so much risk out there.
Right.
Back in like our generation, do you know how many teen pregnancies I had at my high school?
Right.
It was like insane.
Yeah. Well, because it was an education and transparency, and it was where his choice was more like, hey, do what you want. Don't worry about the repercussions of bringing a child into this world, or without love, and then what's worst thing about it, in those 9 months in the pregnancy, that baby, as it's being developed, is taking on all your emotions, taking on all your problems. You're unifying it with your symbiotic response on what you're eating, to what you're saying, to what you're thinking. And so the birth of a baby and how they're going to be coming into this world is happening way before they're even born. And so, and this illusion that we think that the baby is finally born, that's when it actually exists, is just asinine. I don't think we take really any responsibility for that.
What did we learn on our show on Tuesday, guys? 7 generations before the baby's born, before your baby's born, and before we reach born. Yeah. We're going back 7 generations of how our ancestors thought and felt. Is that not insane in the way that they handle things?
God, we could talk about this. Right. We could talk about this forever.
Yeah, thank you guys for being such a big part of
Where's my soapbox music, man?
Yes, but that's what's good about Awaken Atlanta. We talk about things that mainstream media won't. Yes. Guys, when we get back from break, we have Greta Full, president of Golden Homes
Services. Yeah.
Services. I'm like, wait.
Geez, Shannon, your main sponsor for your whole network.
Well, I thought it was Golden Homes and it says studio, so I got confused. Anyway, We'll be right back with Awaken Atlanta.
Create the life you desire, one intention at a time. Yes, you manifest your intentions. Visit unitedintentions.org now for a life-changing experience.
My father received excellent care in the hospital, but hospitals are depressing, and I knew that if we could just get him home, he'd do so much better.
Golden Home Services, the premier private in-home care service for seniors in Georgia. Here's a real client, Laura Ross.
His Golden Home caregivers had been working closely with the hospital staff, and since the doctors knew that he would receive quality care, they were willing to speed up the rehab process and discharge him sooner than normal. He started getting better by leaps and bounds. He still has a way to go, but I'm beginning to feel like I have my old dad back. I can't say enough good things about Golden Home Services. I don't know what my family would have done without them.
Hi, I'm Greta Full, president of Golden Home Services. We all have parents, and I know I love my parents more than anything else in this world. And because of that, Golden Home Services makes sure we care for your parents as if they were our parents.
They support us so we can support you. Hear about conscious businesses that provide goods and services to our community. Through one another, we uplift and support for the greater good. Let's give a hand to our goodwill partners.
All right, welcome back to Awaken Atlanta, our goodwill partners. And we have a very special person here, and I'll tell you why she's so special. But let me tell you, she's the
because she believed in him when no one else did.
And she believes in all my crazy conspiracies. Greta,
no, let's clarify that. No.
But Greta Fall is the president of Golden Home Services, which is a private home care company here in Georgia, and probably the #1 private home care company in Georgia, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to be biased, only because I started it.
And I never argue with him about that. We just let him think this.
Now I have nothing to do with it, and Greta runs everything. But why don't you tell Greta a little bit about our history together and how we started this company?
Are you sure?
I want to know the truth. Tell the world the truth.
So fresh out of college, I moved here in 2003 and moved to Atlanta from Indiana. And I was in the corporate world for a while doing corporate wellness. My background's public health education. And I realized this was not for me, this corporate world. So I thought maybe I wanted to be a nurse. So I looked into it at the time. My husband and I lived in Kennesaw, so I was looking into maybe going back to Kennesaw State and looking into their nursing program. And as I was doing so, they made the recommendation that I go through the CNA course. CNA is Certified Nursing Assistant course at Kennesaw State University. And so I decided, okay, I need to make sure that I can handle all that goes with nursing, right? This is going to be a good start for me. So I walk in, and the first night, my nutty professor is Tim Ray himself. And I enjoyed the course. I did. I enjoyed getting to know a little bit about taking care of others, and I realized that was really my heart. I'm a natural caretaker at heart.
Do you remember the first day when the lightning struck and all the lights went out?
You want to go there?
Well, just real quick here.
You should go there.
The certified nursing assistant course at Kennesaw, I created and started 16, 17 years ago. And it's, by the way, I said to the lady, if you pay me some money, I'll give you the best course ever. And it's still the #1 certified nursing assistant course in the state of Georgia, by the way, just saying.
Very quality, very premier, goes above the state standards. So I feel like I got a good education in that regard. But going back to the first night of class, so we get there and it's raining. It's pouring down rain. Come to find out there is a tornado warning, not a watch out. Right? So the sirens are going off in the building. Building. He continues to teach, right? Because that's a top priority for him. One-track mind, right?
Yeah.
So then we lose electricity. The security lights come on.
And you did not leave.
Everybody else is in the hall, like all hunkered down. And Tim Ray keeps teaching. We can't even see his face. And he keeps teaching class.
That's called socially awkward.
However, because I was trained in the disaster drill, the safest place is inside the classroom, not in a hallway, because if a roof comes off, everybody gets sucked up out of the hallway.
So
in the classroom, your safest place.
And you were probably just trying to distract them, right?
Is this your conspiracy, too?
No, it's a reality. It's a reality, because I was trained that way. And I was trying to calm everybody down by getting their mind off of being, taken away like Dorothy.
Yes.
Right? But isn't that fun, though?
Yep. So anyways, he, continued to be my nutty professor through the course. And I was like, this guy. And I actually got a gig working what we call in the industry private duty, which means I worked for a single family in Buckhead. Wonderful gentleman. I'll never forget him. He was my heart. He was my very first client.
Oh, God, I remember him.
And he had long-term care insurance and ended up needing to be cared for by a company instead of just an individual. So I was like, well, let me call this nutty professor of mine. I know he owned a home care company. And back then we were, four clients strong?
Yeah.
And Tim always brags because not only did I come on to work for him, I came on with a client.
Yes.
So I think that's how I started my marketing role at Golden Home Services.
So she started out, I think, an $8 an hour certified nursing assistant course. I just started the company back then, too, maybe a year or 2 years into it. And it was just me and one other employee, and then Greta came on, and now she runs the whole thing. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know how much money she makes. I know she makes a lot of money. So
you're doing something right.
We'll let you keep thinking that.
All right, let me ask you, what's one of your favorite memories of being partners with Tim?
Oh, man, we had fun. We had fun while we did this. We still have fun while we do this. I remember
the Vegas trips, what are you talking about?
And I remember one Halloween. I mean, I helped, bless his heart, I helped him raise his kids. I remember one Halloween, my husband and I, with his 2 kids, were trick-or-treating around his neighborhood here in Roswell. And I couldn't keep up because I was answering all the phone calls and triaging everything that happens in the home care world because it's a 24/7 business.
Right.
We always have to be available. There's always emergencies. We have to have backup plans to our backups. But I remember I was being so upset because I didn't get any candy because I was working the whole time. And his kids wouldn't share with me.
I know.
So lots of good stories like that. Lots of good stories of the boys being at the office after hours. And we were doing homework, running a home care company. So it's been a wild ride.
You know, and I tell you what, I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else, Greta, because not only did you come in and really blossom it, especially when, you know, you pushed me out, because then it really started, then it really got rocking and rolling. But it's just the energy and fun we have. You know, and what I love about Golden Home Services is that we have staff with us for 16, 15 years, 5 years, 7 years. No one leaves. And if they do leave, they usually have to come back. And that's the culture that we created and the climate that we created. And that's really, I consider it intentional business.
Yeah.
It's a family. People come in and we screen well.
That's a big sign. That's a big applause to you both if you don't have a high turnover rate. Because the higher the turnover rate, you're clearly doing something wrong.
And we have hundreds of employees.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that the industry that we're in makes us so unique because we take care of seniors in their homes. We do very intimate things for people. We help them with a shower. You know, people are losing independence, and we emotionally help people through that.
Oh gosh.
So there has to be kind of a bonding type of atmosphere because even though we try to keep it light, we're kind of dealing with heavy things.
Oh yeah, I've been there, done that. But let me ask you this: does insurance pay for it? Is it all private pay? How does this work?
That's a good question. So we are primarily private pay. We do accept what's called long-term care insurance, and we're seeing long-term care insurance take kind of a new swing in the industry too. There are some annuities and some life insurance policies that now pay for some long-term care. But no Medicare, no Medicaid.
Why wouldn't they pay for this? Like, why wouldn't the government pay for this? Because it's so important to have.
They do to some degree. They have these source programs, and I think it's
CCSP programs. We do not accept those, but Medicaid will cover a portion, and that's very need-based, and it's very limited as well.
All I know is when I lost my mom and she was in a rehab center, it was so much more depressing for her. And I really wish that she was in her own home. So if you guys can do it, people need to hire people like you guys where you can come in so they can stay in their home.
Yeah, and what's awesome about what we do is we make our services very affordable because years and years ago, we eliminated what we call minimums in our industry. A lot of home care providers will have a 4-hour minimum.
We set the standard, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, we realize we are losing opportunities too because a lot of times a 1-hour client will later be a 24-hour client when maybe they just needed that 1 hour for bathing and dressing and a light meal or something like that. So we can do anywhere from an hour at a time in the home up to 24 hours a day. So, some of our clients might have 1 hour, 1 to 2 times a week, and it's just that minimal. Some of our clients might have 24/7 around the clock care, and we're there day and night. So it just depends on, really what is necessary for them.
Right.
Yep. And kind of going back to your question about insurance, now home health care companies accept Medicare and major medical insurance plans, but I always call that the insurance box or the Medicare box. You have to fit you have to qualify for that. Your need, whatever's going on with you, whether it's rehab or needing a skilled nurse, you have to fit into those guidelines based on something that's going on with you. And then they don't come for a long-term period of time. They just come until you progress or till you no longer can progress. I call that the Medicare box because you have to fit right into it. One reason we're private pay is because our clients dictate to us how long we come, how long we stay, when we come. It's very simple, too, because all we have is a 24-hour cancellation. So you can have services one day and cancel them the next. So we try to be very, very flexible in that regard, too.
I love how knowledgeable you guys are because people, we don't know this kind of stuff. And we have to become our own advocates, especially for people we love. So it's really important that you guys come in and kind of take over.
It's a maze. It is definitely a maze. One of my favorite family members is in crisis at this point in time and kind of going down the route with hospice and not really knowing where to turn. You talking about that education. I always say to people, I always say to our clients, our family members, our potential clients and family members, we've been doing this a long time. Let us act as a resource and a liaison for you too, because while we do home care and that's our specialty, Much like we say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes multiple disciplines to keep our seniors at home and happy, healthy, quality of life, independent, whatever that means to them. So a lot of times we're partnering with a home health care agency that accepts Medicare. We're partnering with hospice. We're partnering with home modification companies to make home modifications so our clients can see better or get in and out of their house better, things like that. So we're not only home care, we're a resource for our clients and family members too.
You know, and I love what you do too, great, and what you bring to the table with Golden Home Services. One, you create such a culture there that people just love to come in, and it's very family oriented. And then when you limit the turnover, you got consistency of care, you got consistency of service on all levels. And so what are the levels of services? I probably don't even know anymore now.
Yeah,
She lets me come play over here with Shannon and everyone else. So what are the level of services that you do offer? Maybe explain a little bit about that.
Sure. We offer personal care, companionship, and skilled nursing services. That skilled piece of the puzzle is something that makes us very unique. I'll get there in a second. But when I mention personal care, that's what I kind of simplify as hands-on direct personal care. Things like bathing, dressing, incontinence care, skin care, things like that. Those companionship items, I sometimes talk about as like domestic responsibilities, like light housekeeping, laundry. We even do things like walk the dog and scoop the cat's litter box. Those things would be considered companionship. And cooking, meal preparation, that's a big one. And companionship and conversation. We have some clients that utilize us just simply for camaraderie's sake, to have somebody to come in and talk to. We have a male client that has a male caregiver, and they're buddies, they're chummy.
Right.
And that's so good for our clients' well-being. And then our skilled nursing piece of the puzzle, I always like to clarify, we are not home health, as I mentioned earlier. We do not accept Medicare. And skilled nursing is a huge part of home health care. But we do that on the private pay side, because if for whatever reason our clients don't fit into that Medicare box, as I was talking about, or they need more than what Medicare will offer them, we can supplement and come in on a private pay standpoint and do skilled nursing services. And those things would include things like wound care, could include IV infusions, which we're seeing so much more of. Our hospital systems are bringing people in and pushing people out quicker than ever before, simply because of reimbursement rates and reimbursement in general. So we see that people are coming home expecting to be what we'd call taught and trained how to do an item. Well, if you're a senior and you have vision issues or dexterity issues, you're not going to be able to do those things, where if one of us would go into the hospital, we could be taught and trained to come home and do that skill for ourselves, for example. So we've kind of found a niche in those skilled nursing services that we provide, where we're complementing home health care companies and family members.
And hospice companies.
And hospice companies in doing these services. And I'm really glad you bring up hospice. I always like to mention our hospice support services. Going back to that, it takes a village, right? A lot of times we're working alongside other disciplines. Hospice is a discipline that we often work alongside. And there's a little bit of a misconception that people think once you have hospice care, that you don't need anything else. Not true. Hospice will provide a nurse to you, and they'll provide a home health aide, but we might need to come in and supplement that. But we have a special program designed where we help our caregivers understand a little bit more about hospice. Like once a client is on hospice, you don't call 911 anymore in case of an emergency. You call the hospice company, for example. So we make sure that those caregivers are specially trained in knowing that hospice process, that death and dying process, what to expect during that process and things like that. So we can kind of, as a specialty, run alongside the hospice companies.
Let me ask you a question. So I pretty much know why and what we do, for the most part. Well, what, in your opinion, Greta Full, what do you think separates us from the rest of the home care companies in Georgia?
I would say a few major things. Our no minimum hours that we talked about, anywhere from 1 to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our availability, our office staff takes our on-call. We don't hire a on-call service to triage our calls. So it might be myself, our marketing director, our vice president of operations, one of our care managers. Decision makers, thank you, that are on call, at any time, day and night, after hours, and on weekends. So you can get to us. It's not an act of Congress to make some changes or do something. And then also something that sets us apart is that I think that complementary skilled nursing service that we provide as well. And I always like to make a note. We partner with a lot of communities as well. One of our niches is we will take our services into independent living communities, where I like to say we bridge the gap between where the client lives now and maybe where they might be later. By bringing our services in, we might offer just medication reminder or walk the dog. We might just go in and do a load of laundry, anything that might offer a better quality of life in that independent living setting, to maybe bridge that gap until they need assisted living or skilled nursing or whatever might be next for them. So we have a real special niche. We're in multiple Metro Atlanta communities, and we love that presence we offer. We're really good at that program and what we do in that regard.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
All right. So that's great in here, all that. But what about because you're dealing with human beings, right? And one of my experiences in home care companies and home health particularly, and also in home care companies, is that, there's people are always complaining. There's always a problem. Someone doesn't show up or there's issues going on. So how do you deal with these type of situations where, because I'm sure, is that the common normal thing that would happen?
We never have any problems. Just kidding. I think that so much of it is about realistic expectations. We've got this human element that we're dealing with. We're in the service industry. So, we train our intake staff. We train our marketing staff to talk about the fact that we're human beings dealing with human beings. Cars break down, kids get sick, people don't show up. There is some turnover naturally, right? So I think it's about setting that expectation, letting our clients know that we have that human element, but also the major piece of the puzzle is being on call and being able to respond to that.
Service recovery.
Communicating, letting people know what happened. I know your caregiver, Sally, didn't show up at 8 a.m. Please know that we're working on getting someone there, and we'll call you as soon as we know more. If we don't know more within a half an hour, we'll call you just to give you a status update. Just that's a special touch. People want to know what's going on, especially when they're in crisis, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of home care companies out there that was the number one problem that we saw when we were sizing up the industry way back when, was that there's crickets, lack of response, and you didn't hear from anyone.
Right, or they don't answer their phone and they don't even know that there's a problem to begin with. So
real quick, where can people find you if they need information?
Great question. So visit us on our website at www.goldenhomeservices.com. And I keep kind of bringing home that we're available 24/7, and that's through our main office number at 678-242-0084.
Awesome, Greta. Thank you so much. All right, guys, when we get back from break, we have our recap, which means Stacy is hopefully going to write it.
Yes.
I don't think Billy's here today. We have to find him. We're going to track him down and find him, but we will be right back with Awaken Atlanta.
Want to get connected with Awaken Atlanta? Call us at 678-495-4345 or email us at awakenatlanta@uimedianetwork.org to learn more about our partnership packages.
Hi, my name is Beth Peters, Atlanta-based psychic, medium, animal communicator, and your host for the Psychic Soup. Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDJY 99.1 FM. I bring in fascinating guests and touch on everyday topics, but with a psychic's twist. From high-profile psychics to psychic fanatics, I like to talk to people and learn how us psychics can help them in ways they've never dreamed of. Have any questions you'd like me to answer? Call 678-495-4345. and I'll be happy to take your call. You can also watch me on Facebook Live at United Intentions Foundation, where you can post your questions in the comment section. Find the Psychic Soup on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and many more platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at United Intentions, and on Twitter at Higher Intention. So relax, take a deep breath, and dive into the Psychic Soup. A spoonful of psychics for soulful readings come true.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Tim Ray with Shannon McVeigh. Guys, download our app, uimediaapp.com. With so much coming up, our community, everything else. It's just get it now while it's free. Get it now while it's free, uimediaapp.com. And Shannon, what a great show. I really loved your passion during the news segment.
Oh, yeah. This enter sarcasm here. You know what? I just love that we can talk about the uncomfortable and you guys are all there with us. But Greta was incredibly knowledgeable, right? And very informative. So we appreciate that.
She's the best in the industry. Honestly,
she knows her stuff.
I joke because I started the company, I own the company, but it really is probably the #1 home care company in Georgia because of everything, because of Greta and their team she has put together and what they do every day. They're truly dedicated, and and the turnovers in the office is minimal to anything, and it's just that sets the whole standard.
Yeah, it does. And then our Awakened Star.
I know, yeah, Veronica, she did a great job.
Basically to get back with your ex.
Well, you know what I liked about that, and I'll tell you why I thought, because our normal routine is exes are for a purpose, right? Never get back with your ex. We're trained that way. But she's saying,
though? I feel like so many people, that's where the problems are caused, because so many people get back with their exes when you should just move on.
No, I think once you're out of love, it's over usually. But I do like the idea that you can look at it more from a healing perspective than it is from I got to be with that person perspective.
That's a good question. Do you believe love is enough?
I think most love is misunderstood. I think most love is codependent, and it's familiarity, it's conditioning in neural pathways, and it's also you're conditioned to enjoy whatever the problems going on. But I think real love, unconditional love, you see the unconditional love when you see breakups. That's when you really see if the person's unconditional or not. Because are they thinking of the kids? Are they thinking of themselves? The whole works. So you'll see your true nature. And I was saying that earlier, that when there are breakups, you look back. I mean, I can't look back, not from my divorce. I had a pretty amicable divorce with my ex. Thanks, Nick.
Stop bragging.
But my other exes, or my not marriage exes, but girlfriends, some of the breakups are just horrible.
All right, give us an example of a bad one.
Well, I'm just saying that that when you're in that moment, that you're like, man, that's not me, and that's not the other person. And so you'll find your worst self in the middle of a breakup, look back, go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And I see it over and over again, especially in divorces. It gets really ugly when kids are involved. And you like, and
don't let it be, guys.
You don't
Rise
have to.
above. Be better than that, and talk to your partner about being better for the children. It's so crazy to me. I think,
but
it's
it happens
so
all
selfish.
the time, Shannon.
Oh, but okay. I have a girlfriend who divorced, and the husband, and she had an affair, and the husband told the children. Why would he tell the children? And that just created a wedge.
Because he was hurt. He was hurt, and yes, created a wedge. But I'm telling you, the worst comes out in people.
Your kids stuff
the worst comes out in people at that time,
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, when it comes to kids, even the best angels out there leverage the kids against the other spouse.
What did you learn today about our dating talk?
That I love that fact that we shouldn't box our relationship. We should leave any relationship open to go into, and I think that was really good. And also I learned that
See, not me. I think you should not be unequally yoked, like Wahid said.
So
you shouldn't be too open for every relationship.
So what did you learn?
Which one?
Oh yeah, What did you learn?
I learned that Stacy's recap. Let's read it.
Oh my God.
Recap. Tim and Shannon talked about their first loves. Veronica helped us understand that sometimes you can get back together with an ex and make it work. Veronica is bright and wonderful. We all need the seeds of intention planners to keep us on track. Tim as a teacher sounds terrifying and hysterical. 9/11 was not an inside job. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, poor Stacy.
Greta and everyone at Golden Home Services do amazing work. That is so necessary.
Mm.
What do you feel about that?
I love that. Well, I just think that when it comes to Stacy's she's a fact checker, and
she is. That's why I trust her.
Well, I will send Stacy some facts, on what happened, and she's open minded too. I see Stacy grow.
That's the good thing about everybody's open minded that listens to the show. If they weren't, they wouldn't listen to our show. We'd piss so many people off.
Absolutely.
Diana said the person you divorce is not the same person you married.
Yes.
Or maybe they are, and you were just dumb with your head under a rock, and because people. Okay, so I heard this quote. And it says most people don't change. You just get to know them better.
I don't know about that. I mean, honestly, I look back and I think people look back in their relationships and like that was not who they were. And anybody could lose it and get triggered and end up in an insane asylum.
Lose it.
You have the right variables that can happen to you. You lose your job, you lose a kid, you lose your you lose your house or something. Could send you off the cliff and end up on drugs in a mental health hospital.
And that's why you never say never. And that's why you don't throw stones, people. And I do this too. We're all hypocrites, every single one of us. I don't care what you say.
You know why we're
You're
hypocrites?
a walking hypocrite. I'm a walking hypocrite because we change our opinions, and that's fine.
Now, I was listening to this gal on Facebook, which I think she's going to come on our show, and she was talking about how we sometimes we emphasize the positive too much. Like, I always want to be in joy, I want to be in positive. And we lose out on experiencing the pain of what we're experiencing.
Guys, there's beauty in the breakdown. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Let's read some comments real quick.
Okay.
Stacy said, I have grown a lot since I started watching you guys.
Oh,
I
wow.
love who I'm becoming.
Stacy.
Patrick said, how
She's
many
like, as long as they
people...
get paid for it eventually.
Yeah.
But you will. We're working that social media stuff out, so hang in there.
Well, Tim. Patrick says, how many people know themselves? Renata said, the core always stays the same. Behavior and values change.
Exactly.
That is so interesting.
Yes.
And then Diana said 9/11 was totally staged. So there you go.
Good. Thank you, Diana.
And
you
then
talk to
Patrick
Stacy.
said, or give themselves permission to be true self. I think that's so important. Hey, listen, guys, we have about a minute left, but we want to wish you guys a safe weekend.
Yes.
Right? Very happy, safe weekend.
Joyous weekend.
Joyous weekend.
And if you're in
whatever
pain,
you have to deal with, deal with it.
and if you're in pain, embrace it, feel it,
Yeah.
allow it, allow it.
Go
It's there
through
for a
it.
reason. Go through it. That's how you get through it.
And remember, if you're heartbroken, not only go uimediaapp.com to watch our show, but get a rebound.
Oh, and we got to come with an intention for today. I'm running out of time, but I will put intention.
Facebook.
We'll get intention, Stacy. We'll get intention put up there on Facebook. So write that down. It'll be around allowing ourselves to experience love in an unconditional way in relationships. So it'll be
For
around
ourselves. How about that?
Ooh,
Self-love.
drop the
All right,
mic.
guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day. Catch us live Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spreaker at UI Media Network. Have any questions you'd like to ask our team? Or maybe you'd like to say hello? Write to us at awakenatlanta@uimedianetwork.org and get a chance to be featured on our show. Until next time, live life with intent and have a great rest of your day. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.